Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Homewrecker podcast. I am the Golden Greek, Alex Arion, joined as always by my beautiful, lovely, gorgeous wife, Monique. Monique, how are you?
Hi, I am well. How are you?
Fantastic, as always.
Woo!
What is new with you before we get into today's show?
I'm like thinking about this. What is new with me?
Because you didn't know I was going to ask you.
I know you ask me every time, and I'm
ask you
caught
every
off
time.
guard. Random. Okay,
Wow.
my blanket I'm knitting is starting to look actually more like a blanket, so that's exciting. And I am working on scheduling some group hypnosis sessions coming up this summer. I think I have I'm getting something set up for June and July. So if you go to innerstandingshypnosis.com, if you're interested in group hypnotherapy, I have one coming up for inner child and one for stress relief. So you can sign up for that and get the benefit of hypnotherapy at a discounted rate.
There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love how exciting our lives are. What's new with you? Well, I'm knitting this blanket. And
And we're getting baby chicks. They were supposed to be here, but they're not.
Well.
They're not quite hatched yet. So new baby chicks on the way. So in future episodes, if you hear some chirping, that's them.
More chickens on the way. That's
yes.
right. Love our chickens. I love the eggs that they give us even more than the chickens themselves. But the chickens are pretty cool too.
Oh, I love our chickens.
Sure.
So WrestleMania. Wait, before we move.
Yeah.
You, anything?
What?
Anything with you?
No, not
okay.
No, not a thing. Let's get to the
show. Want to
show.
make sure I'm not rude.
No, you're not rude. You're fine. You're great. You're wonderful. You're fantastic. As always.
Thank you. So, WrestleMania.
All right. Yeah, so let's get right into it then. Let's talk about the WrestleMania 41. WrestleMania 41. Mm-hmm. It's crazy that there's been 41 WrestleManias.
Yeah.
But, yes. So let's get into it. Well, when we last left you, we were recording the day before the SmackDown before WrestleMania. So I figured there's just a couple of things very, very briefly that we can go over for the SmackDown. They call it the Go Home Show, the show right before WrestleMania. Takes place the night before in Las Vegas, the same city WrestleMania took place in. Different building, yes, but I thought it'd be good to mention that Rey Mysterio was injured in a 6-man tag team match the night before WrestleMania, and he was scheduled to face El Grande Americano. So that obviously did not happen because he got injured in that match. I think what was reported that I saw was that he tore his groin, which that's painful. So, yeah.
Ouch.
And that's one that he probably, depending on the severity of the tear, 15, 20 years ago, he probably could have wrestled. But now with the way things are, they're a lot more cautious and careful with clearing their talents to work injured and work hurt.
And would you want to wrestle like that?
Nobody would want to really, but I think if given the choice,
I get it because it's WrestleMania.
If given the choice, he would have done it.
Yeah,
absolutely. And you can, like I said, you just tape it up, wrap it. You could probably go, but it would hurt like hell. And especially a lot of the stuff like Rey Mysterio does. There's no way getting around. You can't work around it. Like the style that he works, you have to do everything, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he was out of WrestleMania. The only other thing I wanted to mention was the dynamic between the main event, which was John Cena and Cody Rhodes. They did a face-to-face interview segment, promo segment, whatever you want to call it. And it was very interesting how Cody Rhodes was booed. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, it's the WrestleMania crowd, so that's the internet fans, the smart, hardcore fans, the ones that can actually afford to go to these events, which is the hardest of the hardcores. So, yeah, I could see where they booed Cody a bit, but it was just very telling that he was booed so much.
Yeah.
And Cena was kind of cheered for some of the stuff he was saying, and they exchanged some interesting barbs during that promo segment. But anyway.
Yeah, one of the things that was brought up was Cena for the Oscars being like naked or something on the stage.
Yeah. Cody Rhodes called attention to that.
And I was like, huh? I never
You had no idea.
We don't watch Oscars. We don't care about that. I didn't even see anything online because that's how far off I am with that kind of stuff. So it was just funny. I'm like, what's that about? And Alex had to explain it to me.
Yeah, and I only knew not because I watched the Oscars, but because it was reported, I guess you could say, on a bunch of wrestling websites and things of that nature back when it happened. And I guess that was last year, 2020. That was
I had to look it up, yeah.
right? Okay.
Because it went over my head.
I thought it was several years back, but I guess it was just last year in 2024, which whatever. Okay. So that was just interesting that was that was brought up by Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm. And then after SmackDown was the Hall of Fame, which I had
Holy
to
cow.
knit nonstop to stay awake for.
So we stayed up for it. We watched it live. That, like, I think we might have mentioned it on the previous show we did. That to me, that's one of my favorite things of the year is the Hall of Fame. I just like hearing the speeches. I just like, getting the retrospective of people and their career retrospectives, hearing who they thank and all that kind of stuff. To me, I enjoy that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I like watching it live because typically what happens with the Hall of Fame is guys will go really long, or they might say something that in the past maybe was not something that, I guess when Vince McMahon was in charge, that they'd want said, and they would edit it out. So I never want to see an edited version. I want to see it live. And if I really enjoy the speech, I might go back and watch it again later. I have done that very rarely, but it's something that I just like to enjoy live. So we stayed up because that thing, by the time it was over, it was 4:25 a.m. when that finally finished.
Eastern time.
Which is insane. Yeah. So I was obviously very tired. But
one of the things that I was happy about was there was an actual stage again. When they were doing it in the ring, I hated that because you always have your back to somebody. Like there's a whole group of people your back is to, and you're just looking at the back of somebody's head. Or if you're on either side, it just doesn't feel right for what Hall of Fame we've known to be.
Yeah. I mean, I get why they did it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely, the aesthetic, it didn't look as good. It's just weird because you had it for so many years where they were in a proper setting with a stage and everything. Then all of a sudden they just went to this thing where they were doing it after SmackDown and they were doing it in the ring. And it was just kind of strange. Yeah.
I didn't like that, but I'm glad there was a real stage again. And my gripe is that why aren't we doing this on a Thursday night? Why aren't we doing it at like 7 o'clock on a Thursday night or 8 o'clock on a Thursday night Eastern time? So that way it's not interfering with another wrestling show and it doesn't have to be so late and everyone can enjoy it.
Hey, I think that's a legitimate gripe. I think if you're a WWE talent, that's got to be something they wish too, because there was a lot of pictures floating around. Sometimes when the camera would span the crowd and show the different wrestlers that are there, the main roster guys that are guests and that kind of thing, you could see their eyes were closed. So they were either sleeping, they'd fallen asleep because it's a long day and night for them, or they were resting their eyes or whatever, and that just the camera happened to catch them at an unfortunate moment, but it's not a good look.
Well, there was a point where the camera went right to Booker T and his eyes were closed, and it was like, is he sleeping or is he kind of closing his eyes, like thinking about that moment? One might be able to argue.
Hard to say, but there was a lot of people whose eyes were closed who you'd see. I mean, you didn't see anybody like nodding off, but you would get a lot of shots of people with their eyes closed. So it's like,
or with sunglasses on,
with
their head down.
So I'm of the opinion that if you're wearing sunglasses inside, you're either a douchebag or you're wearing them so that you can close your eyes and nobody will be able to tell that you're sleeping or trying to catch, a little bit of a power nap or whatever. That's what I think. I could be off on that. I could be wrong, but that's my impression. So I don't know. There's a lot of people with sunglasses. That's all I can say. And there was a lot of people who were spotted with their eyes closed that appeared to either be sleeping or resting their eyes or whatever. In any event, it's not a good look. And I agree with you. I don't know what the logistics are. Again, there's so many things that come into play here and in the decision-making process.
Triple H commented how the people for NXT had a 5 a.m. call time that they had to be there for. Yeah. And especially if you have such an early call time, why are you doing this so late? Like, that's just...
Well, that's for the NXT talent.
Yeah.
So if you don't...
And Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. So if the NXT talent, they didn't really show any NXT guys in the crowd, and that could be why, because they probably told the NXT guys, get your rest.
Yeah.
Stay home, stay in your hotel and get your rest.
But if they did it like on a Thursday night...
Yeah, well, again, they have so many things planned for that week. So perhaps
maybe next year.
I mean, this year we got them in a different setting with the stage again. So maybe next year they'll say, okay, we'll move it to a Thursday night, or who knows why we don't know. Again, there's so many different factors that are involved in this decision making, because we don't know why it's not on a Thursday or a Wednesday or, whatever. Like, it should be. I agree. There's just so much going on, and to have to try to fit that in. Now, they could also maybe just make it an entirely different week altogether where nothing else is going on. That's a possibility. Maybe. I don't know.
I get why you want it during WrestleMania time.
Same here.
But a Thursday, it's like, it's during the week. It's the day before, kind of the roll of everything. So I don't know. I'm just saying that I personally would like a Thursday night. Like I said, WrestleMania is starting at 7 Eastern time. I like this because I don't like to stay up late.
They always start at 7 Eastern.
No, it used to be 8 o'clock.
No, they've always started their pay-per-views and everything at 7. They'll occasionally start them at 6, and that's when it's really nice because they're over by like 9:30. But usually,
no, I'm pretty sure like years ago they started doing that more recently, and because it used to only be on Sundays.
Okay, I may be misremembering.
Nights, so.
Yeah, all right, I might be misremembering.
I know, because I used to think I have to get up in the morning to work.
Yeah, that's
this
usually
is not going to be.
That's usually how it was for me. It was like, can't wait for WrestleMania, but I can't wait for the next day when I have to go to work. Yep. Yeah.
Got to take a vacation day.
Late nights, yeah. I mean, they're late nights for sure.
Hall of Fame. Anyone stand out to you?
I thought it was very interesting that so many people mentioned that they only have 2 minutes to talk up here. Yeah. I know CM Punk said it when he was introducing Bret Hart and Stone Cold for their WrestleMania 13 match. I can't remember who else said it, but it was mentioned a couple of times. Yeah. And
wasn't it like Bret Hart and Stone Cold?
Bret Hart and Stone Cold.
They had 2 minutes. CM Punk.
They had 2 minutes, and I think everybody had like the intros had 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the actual inductees, I don't know if they ever said how long they had, because they all went for I mean, not everybody went super long, but it didn't seem rushed.
Yeah.
Like Lex Luger was the first one up.
He was pretty quick.
Diamond Dallas Page gave his introduction. It was good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine. I thought Lex Luger was fine. He was absent on WrestleMania Night 1, and I found out it was because he was so wiped out from being up late and participating in the Hall of Fame, and then I guess he had a fall getting into the car going to the event, and that like really took it out of him. He's in rough shape. He's in a wheelchair and everything, so it's like, okay, so he just, I guess that day of WrestleMania decided I can't get out of bed. I can't do it. I don't have the energy. I'm wiped out. So he didn't go to WrestleMania, but it happens. That was the big thing I noticed is everybody saying we only got 2 minutes. We only have whatever. And then you have The Undertaker comes out. He introduces or is inducting his wife, Michelle McCool, and he says, what did he say? He said, "We're in Vegas, we're here for a good time, not a long time." And then he proceeded to talk forever about his wife, like forever. So it's
forever.
Like, what? So that was interesting.
And then his wife went even longer.
And then his wife, I think her speech is still going on. I'm not sure. But yeah, that was interesting.
And she kept saying, like, don't listen to the noise. And it was very much like a motivational speech.
Yeah,
the whole thing.
It was very reminiscent
of a dead horse motivational speech.
Yeah, it was very reminiscent of when Undertaker did his
Yep.
Hall of Fame acceptance speech, where he's like giving all these like points and like life lessons and stuff. It's like, okay, so are they like joining? They're joining the Tony Robbins motivational speaking tour, I think.
But she kept saying like you can't listen to all the noise, and I couldn't help but think, is it because you've heard so many people comment how they don't think you really belong there? and you're in there because of your husband, perhaps? Could it be because so many people have said you had more of a lackluster career? I don't know. I'm just speculating. Like I said, I was never impressed with her. There was nothing that ever stood out to me wrestling-wise that I saw on TV. And she could be the most wonderful human being in the whole wide world. But for wrestling merit, again, personally, I just... As Wade Barrett would say, nothing gave me that tingle in my loins when it comes from
I will say
her.
this about it's the WWE Hall of Fame. If you're going on wrestling merit, then 80% of the guys in there would not be in there. It's not about wrestling merit. So I'm in agreement with you. I nothing that I ever saw of her was that impressive to me, but it's not just about that. It's about so much more. With how they make these decisions. Politically speaking, yeah, look who her husband is. I'm sure that had at least a small part, if not a big part. But I don't know. Again, we're just armchair quarterback and we're just speculating and everything.
But her speech was long.
Her speech was long, yes, and it was very reminiscent of Undertaker's speech when he was inducted.
Yes. And then I think the winner of the longest speech went to Triple H.
Hour and 25 minutes, I think it was. He went forever.
Yeah. But it was good.
Like I said, I stayed up and watched the whole thing live. I didn't doze off. I didn't nod off once. I enjoyed it. I think I might have said to you the next day. I can't remember. If I was to do a Hall of Fame, like that's how a Hall of Fame speech should be. Thank everybody. Go through your entire. Thank all the people that got you there because. That's why I like the Hall of Fame. I like hearing that kind of stuff and those kind of stories. And if it goes forever, it goes forever. But that's why maybe have it on a different night and don't put time limits on people. I get why they say, hey, only keep it to this or keep it to this because you don't want to go forever. But at the same time, especially for the main event inductees or whatever you want to call them, you want to give them as much time as they want. Like you don't want to rush them off.
Yeah.
Like in previous Hall of Fames, like I remember the year Stone Cold Steve Austin went in. He only got 5 minutes, and they kept it to 5 minutes. Terry Funk and Dory Funk Jr. went in as a tag team, like as brothers. For both of them, they got 5 minutes combined, so 2.5 for each. Like, how do you go through their career in that long? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I feel like there shouldn't be time limits. Maybe for the inductors. Say, hey, okay, you can go up, talk about them for 2-3 minutes, then we'll get them up. And then you tell them, hey, we'll give you a minimum 10 minutes, but if you could try to keep it under 20, if you're not the main guy, I think that's plenty of time. And then the main guy, like I said, like Triple H went an hour and 20 minutes. That's great. Let him go.
But it was interesting.
And he cut his speech short. Believe it, he actually wrapped it up. He left some people out. Joe DeFranco, who's his personal trainer, who he's been working with for like 15 years now. I saw him in the crowd. He was like very hard to miss. He kept getting spotted because he was like third row in. And he was there with his family because he was invited by, and his trip and everything was paid for by Triple H, because he was going to be thanked in the speech, and he wasn't thanked because he had to cut some stuff out towards the end. Because he realized that I'm going forever. And he's probably getting the sign from people like, hey, you've been going for a really long time or whatever, production people telling him, hey, you got to wrap it up. So he did have to cut some things out. But I think that I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed his speech. And I think that should be how the main guy, the main attraction for the Hall of Fame every year should get as much time as they want.
But it was also interesting.
It was. He
and
kept it interesting.
Yes, he kept it very interesting.
Told some good stories, thanked people, explained why he was thanking them, what they meant to him, how they impacted his life.
I was not looking at the clock, wondering when this was going to be over, unlike some other people in the Hall of Fame who we had to listen to.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Can't win them all, right?
Nope. So moving on. Is that it for Hall of Fame?
Yeah, that's really it.
Now, WrestleMania. So Saturday was NXT.
Yeah, there was the NXT.
We watched. That was pretty good.
Something or other. I forget what it's called. I'm so sorry.
Was it Stand and Deliver?
I think it was Stand and Deliver. I'm blanking. That weekend was we were tired. Very little sleep, so I apologize. But I remember the entire show was great. We watched watched the whole thing. I watched the whole thing with my boys. I think, did you watch the entire show? I couldn't remember if you were sitting with us for the entire thing.
I was, except for when I was getting the cake.
Okay. So I think you might have missed like the pre-show match or something.
Yeah,
because there was something you did miss.
I went to go get the food.
Okay, that's what it was. Great show, top to bottom was excellent. I thought it was great. They knocked it out of the park. So I enjoyed that show. We're not really going to get into that too much at all, other than to say that it was really, really good.
Yeah, it was really good. And interesting because something comes up later on in WrestleMania during one of the matches. We'll talk about that then. So WrestleMania night one.
Night one, the kickoff show starts at 4:00 Eastern. It's 3 hours long. So you wonder, 3 hours, what are they going to do in this 3 hours? Well, the usual thing. They have people talk. They have a couple of the people that are going to be involved in the show give little interviews. People, they'll have their commentators and talking heads give their predictions, yada, yada. And then they drop a bombshell announcement that WWE, or TKO, whatever you want to call it, has purchased AAA, the wrestling, one of the big promotions in Mexico, which I was like, what? It just came completely out of nowhere. So that was very interesting that they would make that announcement. I mean, I guess that if you're going to make that announcement, that's a heck of a time to do it when the most eyeballs are on you during WrestleMania weekend. So that was very interesting.
Yeah.
And they announced that they're going to do another When Worlds Collide pay-per-view. The last one that AAA did was in 1994. And so they're doing it in Los Angeles again. I'm not sure if it's the same building that the original one took place in, but they're going to be running a pay-per-view with the NXT brand. And then that night, they're doing WWE Money in the Bank. So that should be...
Back-to-back?
Back-to-back, yeah. So that should be another newsworthy day in the world of professional wrestling. Now, let's get into WrestleMania Night 1. It opens up with, was it Jelly Roll that did God Bless America? Yeah. Thought it was good.
It was fine.
It was fine. And then the first match, well, you had Dana White, the UFC president,
That's right,
who was narrating the opening video for WrestleMania, which I thought was really interesting. And so that was kind of cool. And then you had the opening match was Jey Uso versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. What did you think of this match?
I thought it was good, but I was very surprised with the way that it ended. Gunther tapping out, and it felt kind of abrupt. Like, oh, okay, that just happened. I guess I was expecting more, like in terms of more stuff to happen in the match before anything. I think they both did a good job. Jey Uso came out from like way up in the back, going down all the stairs.
Coming through the crowd, yeah.
Coming through the crowd, kind of pacing himself, coming through. And definitely looked more focused, more determined, which you expect given the build-up to this. I thought it was a good match. I was entertained. I enjoyed it. I just felt that when Gunther tapped out, it was like, huh? Oh. Okay. I figured Jey Uso was going to win.
The result was pretty obvious. When we come with the build-up and everything, I thought the result was pretty obvious. I loved the match. I thought it was excellent, and I thought it made, from a psychological standpoint, looking at it as a former wrestler, I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was excellent. The finish and everything. Yes, it came out of nowhere, but think about it. When has Gunther ever been put in his rear naked choke? He's the one always putting it on people. So when someone put it on him, he's like, fish out of water. What do I do? So he taps out. I thought it made perfect sense. He was splashed 3 times off the top rope to weaken him. He got power bombed. Jey Uso used all his own moves against him. I thought it was fantastic from a psychology standpoint. It was great. Yes, the crowd was not expecting it, but because everybody kind of was like, "What? That was it? What? And then they got excited. So nobody could really. But from a psychological standpoint, it made total sense.
I also want to bring up the crowd too, because I think that was a part of it. I feel like the crowd wasn't as into it as expected. We were into the match, but the crowd, I don't know, it just didn't seem as
if you watch
loud
the
about it.
If you watch the crowd, like say you watch the match on mute, you might get a different a different perspective or a different, you might get like a different perspective of it, because I think they mic'd the crowd not as well as they did on night 2.
Yeah, night 2 seemed way louder and more of a reaction, but night 1, especially like the first half,
it seemed like the crowd was kind of almost dead, but they weren't. If you watched them, they were into it. So I just think it's the way the crowd was mic'd, perhaps. That's just a guess. But I don't know. Yeah, the crowd noise did not match what was happening in the ring, like as you would envision that it would. But again, that's part of being in such a big
place,
big stadium. Well, not even a stadium. They're in an arena. They are in a stadium, not an arena. I always mix those two up.
Yeah, I said to Alex, the stage, when they do the big shot from inside and you see everyone and how big it is, the ring, it's so small looking.
Yeah.
Compared to the scale of everything.
Yeah, well, it's 20 by 20 foot.
I know.
It's not that big. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, no, that first match I thought was fantastic. And then, you got the result that everybody pretty much expected. And I mean, you kind of had to. So.
But also, Gunther is one of those wrestlers who I think he doesn't need a belt. He's so good that they can do other stuff. They can do more with him.
He'll be a champion again soon enough,
absolutely.
I think.
Whereas if Jey Uso if he didn't win,
if Jey Uso didn't win, he'd be dead in the water.
Yeah.
That would kill. He's not Cody Rhodes, where you can build him for another year. He's not the same type of character, so that wouldn't have worked with him. So he kind of needed it.
And after that, we had the War Raiders versus the New Day. The New Day, as we said.
Yes.
And again, the crowd didn't seem that loud. So I feel like that takes a little something out of it. But I really liked this match. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. I thought it was great. And then again, it felt like an abrupt ending to me, where the New Day cheated to win and get the belt.
Yeah. I mean, sure. Yeah, so they beat the War Raiders, and they grabbed the belts and ran out of there as fast as they could and ran up the rampway to celebrate, which was great. It just shows, they stole it. They stole it. That was a thief.
But I thought it was a good match.
Yeah, it was fine.
I guess I was just expecting it to go a little bit longer, or I wanted it to go a little longer. I think they went
like 8 minutes or something like that. It wasn't that long. I mean, I'll be honest, it was fine. Everybody worked hard.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, everybody
did
a great job with it, but I don't know. I think obviously they're going to keep going with these two, I would imagine. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens in the future. But yeah, it was all right. It didn't like blow me out of the water. But again, it's the second match of the night. You have to, as a wrestler, you have to realize what your place is on the card. These guys could have gone out and just had the best match of the night easily if they were told to, or if that's what their role was. But
I felt like this is to build up to more.
Yeah, sometimes that's what a match is.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. What did we have next?
Was it Jade Cargill and Naomi?
Jade Cargill versus Naomi. What are your thoughts on this one?
I got to talk about the entrances, because I feel like we didn't have as grand of entrances this year as sometimes we normally do. I don't know what the hell was up with Jade Cargill's entrance. I guess it's like a local weatherman with this really cheesy CGI blue green screen background.
But that's what weathermen are.
There's a storm coming. I know, but it was really bad. So lately, Alex and I have been watching the show Eureka that used to be on Sci-Fi, and it's from like 2006. And I felt like those are the same kind of CGI type graphics they were using for this, something from almost 20 years ago. It just looked really cheesy. It didn't look cool. It didn't look neat. It was just super, super cheeseball. And for what?
Cheeseball.
It was. And for this character who's supposed to be the strong woman, and they're trying to take Storm from X-Men and use that, it was just so lame. I think it really fell flat on its face. It probably did the opposite of what it wanted to accomplish. Like, come on, WWE, you can't afford better graphics. You can't afford better CGI. I don't know. Like, and then they show like inside the stadium above the entrance, and it's like Storm, like the outline, image, kind of shadow, whatever, of her kind of coming up in the air. But I just thought it didn't bleed well together to go from that into her actual entrance inside the building. It just felt awkward. It didn't feel like it flowed into each other. And I was very unimpressed.
You're a tough critic.
I know what I like.
All right, fair enough. What'd you think of the match itself?
It wasn't bad.
There was a lot of people I saw that said this was the best match of the night.
And I thought,
what
the hell are you watching?
What were you guys watching?
It wasn't the worst. It wasn't horrible. It's just nothing really stood out to me like, that was awesome. It was okay.
Yeah, I'll go with that. It was just okay.
Meh.
Jade Cargill got the win.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that match.
Any thoughts for you on that?
That was it. It was okay. It was nothing.
No tingling in the loins?
No, I didn't get any of that.
No.
None of that happened for me, but that's okay. Next match was the United States champion, LA Knight, defending his championship against Jacob Fatu.
Oh, wait, can we back up? Because I just
Okay.
remembered for entrances.
Let's back up.
War Raiders. They come out for, what is it, the Clash of Clans or something?
Oh, yeah.
So they were doing something like, because this happened in the second night with another match we'll talk about, but they come out kind of in the gear of the game.
The video game.
Yeah.
What was it? Clash of Clans or something?
I think so.
I guess it's my son was explaining it to me. It's a mobile game.
But
Okay.
they come out and they're wearing that gear. And I remember thinking, like, what's up with their gear? It looks kind of like plastic. Like, that's weird. And then I was like, oh, because it's supposed to be for the video game. I just thought they can't do better. WWE can't, like, how much are these sponsors paying? Like, they can't put a little bit more to make it look less plasticky.
What do you want?
I don't know.
Jeez. You were a tough critic.
I know, because I
Jeez.
told you, last year was so good. I want to be impressed. I have a very, very high expectations. But
All right.
so going into the next match with LA Knight,
Yes.
his entrance, he pulls up in, what was a Maserati?
Maserati. He wasn't even driving. That was the best part. He wasn't even driving. They had to get, the guy from the dealership had to drive him up or something. Like, it wasn't even him. So I thought that was interesting how you have WrestleMania is the time when people come out in cars or whatever. They have like these elaborate, crazy entrances in years past.
And this is the car just pulls up.
And this year it just
Lets
pulled
him
up
out.
from the side ramp and pulled up and he gets out and he wasn't driving. So I'm like, okay, all right.
That was it.
That's interesting. And,
Okay.
But that was it. It
Yeah,
was
that
like
was it.
no great like pyro or anything. I don't, it was just that.
Car didn't get destroyed somehow during the match.
Yeah, no, nothing.
It was
Nothing.
just like, okay.
Cool. And then, I
So
think
that
Jacob
happened.
Fatu just came out normal.
He had like werewolf mask on.
Okay, that's it. Cool. It was weird. Yeah, I'm with you on the entrances thing. We'll obviously talk about it more as we get through both nights. But yeah, I feel like they were very lacking in the entrances this year.
Yeah.
What'd you think of this match, though?
I liked it. I thought it was good. Jacob Fatu got the win, which I was very excited and happy for. Because as we discussed in our previous episode, I wanted to see that. I like him. I feel like I want to see where this is going.
Yeah, and I think everybody wanted to see that. Well, people that were there anyway, because there was a big reaction when he won, and it was a positive one. So it'd be interesting to see where they go from here with him. But yeah, I thought it was a good match. I don't think it was anything that was knock out of the park special WrestleMania type match. Personally,
no, but again,
seemed like a good SmackDown or Raw match.
But Jacob Fatu, it's just he's always really entertaining. So he brings a lot in terms entertainment wise watching the match. So I thought I had fun with it. I thought it was really good.
And LA Knight more than holds his own.
Oh,
as
absolutely.
well. So yeah, I thought it was good. I just that didn't have that super special WrestleMania
feel to
it. But I don't know. That's just me.
I'll get into a little bit more after we talk about when we're wrapping up night one.
Sure. The next match, the El Grande Americano, who was originally supposed to face Rey Mysterio. It was announced during the pre-show after they did the whole AAA, we bought AAA announcement. It was announced that Rey Fenix would be taking Rey Mysterio's place. So that was a kind of interesting announcement. I didn't think it would be him, but that's who they selected. And they literally had just that day. I mean, every other WrestleMania, sorry to pull back the curtain and expose it for anyone that isn't aware, these guys and gals, they've been planning and plotting out these matches for at least a couple of weeks leading up to the match itself. And there's rings that are at the hotel that are set up for them to practice their matches and things like that. Well, these guys had to come up with it in just a couple hours, because who knows when they got the word that Rey Mysterio wasn't going to be cleared to have his match. So
yeah, it was less than 24 hours.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think what they did, I thought it was good. I thought it was fine. It wasn't like out of this world WrestleMania caliber type match, but.
And I will say they did announce that El Grande Americano is from the Gulf of America, which I was shocked. And then I heard apparently that was a mistake.
Apparently that was a mistake by the ring announcer.
I'm glad it happened.
They had to try to correct it. If you listen to the commentary, they said that he's actually born in the Gulf of Mexico, and it's the Gulf of, he was born when it was still the Gulf of Mexico, and that's why it should be announced as
which
such.
was stupid.
Whatever. It's like, whatever, who cares? Anyhow, it's wrestling, for crying out. It's supposed to be entertaining and funny, and he's a heel. He's a bad guy. Announce him from the Gulf of America if it pisses people off. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that was that match. What did you think of that match?
It was good, especially since it was put together last minute. I thought it was pretty good.
Well, I mean,
and Rey Fenix is good.
Yeah, he's fine. I think we're saying that they had this match on such short notice, but from like when I got into wrestling, you should be able to have a match on short notice and have it be really good.
I'm just saying compared to everybody
else.
You
should be able to. But yeah, compared to everybody else who has been coming up with this stuff and trying things out and choreographing it and walking through it. Yeah. I thought this was very good. The next thing I believe was Shawn Michaels came out and announced the attendance for the event. So, okay, cool. Which whatever number, it was like over 60,000 people.
Like 61,000
I didn't write the number down. I don't know if it, again, those numbers get inflated and exaggerated and whatever, so who cares? Then the following match, Charlotte Flair challenging the women's champion Tiffany Stratton for the championship.
What did you think about that?
Well, I thought that the entrance, this was like probably one of the best entrances of the weekend. Charlotte came out I think she just came out in like a robe or something. It wasn't like anything extravagant. I don't recall. But Tiffany Stratton came out. They had these like
the Barbie boxes.
Barbie boxes, it looked like, that were on the stage. And I don't know if they were video screens on them or what.
2 were video screens, and then she was in the
middle. Or if
middle.
it was holograms. Was it holograms or video screens? I don't know.
It was video screens.
Whatever technology it was, it looked good because you couldn't tell like which one is her.
Oh,
is she in one of them? I don't know. If you're looking close, I mean, if you go back and look now, yeah, of course, with hindsight, you can tell who's who. But yeah, she was in the middle box of the 3, and yeah, it was just kind of cool.
But it was also fitting for her character too.
Sure. Yeah. So that was a neat kind of little
different
little thing for the entrances. That was a WrestleMania type entrance.
Yeah,
I thought. That was good. And so then they had their match, which was not what I envisioned it being. I mean, I don't know what I envisioned, but it wasn't that. It was they were very just clunky looking.
Yeah.
And for these girls had a week at least of trying to go over their match and come up with things and get used to wrestling with each other and working with each other. And yeah, it just seemed like, I don't know.
Tiffany had like a big welt on her head. Her mouth was bleeding. Her leg was all bleeding.
I think everybody in every match was bruised and banged up or bleeding from some part of their body. It's like they got bought by TKO and they decided, okay, for big events now, just pretend we're in UFC. Like they're
really beat the hell out of each other.
They're beating the hell out of each other.
I can't help but wonder if Charlotte's knee brace caused a lot of those
I think when Tiffy came up bleeding was when she moonsaulted off the top rope and Charlotte put her knees up, which is obviously it's a planned thing. And Tiffany knows to protect herself, but I think her knee brace caught her in the face. And that's what caused like the bleeding and the big hematoma on her face. Yeah. So that was, I mean, it just seemed like they were not meshing well together, and it seemed like they were a step off. I don't want to say who it was because I don't know, but it just seemed like they were not.
It didn't flow as smooth as one would expect.
They weren't gelling together very well, and a lot of times that can work in favor of a match because it looks more quote unquote real. Mm-hmm. Didn't really seem
this just looked a little awkward.
This didn't seem that way at all. But the end result was Tiffany Stratton won.
And I want to point out that at the end of the match, it looked like she chipped her teeth in the front. And I said, well, now she's really a wrestler.
Now she's earned it now.
Yeah,
now
she's earned it.
Now she's
but it turned out it was just blood or something that.
Yeah, she just had blood on her face.
Yeah.
From whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean that match was underwhelming. I was interested going in, definitely because of the way they built it up and
Charlotte got loud during the match to like just shit talking.
Yeah, but so what?
But no, I know, but it didn't add to anything. No, it didn't pull me in like, ooh, it's gonna get good. It was like,
it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, it just wasn't. I don't know. It's just something about it. Just the two didn't mesh well. They
again wearing together. Almost the same colors.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that. What is up with that? Is that like
this on purpose?
It has to. At this point, it has to be because they've shown up so many times wearing the
similar
same colors
things,
and similar, color schemes and things like that. So I don't know. It's
Charlotte comes out in pink and blue, and then Tiffy's in like pink and kind of silver. But
still,
it's still very similar.
Both blonde hair, both dress kind of the same colors, and it's just I don't know if that's supposed to be like the
on purpose.
I would think at this point that it had to be because it was done so much. I could see one time being like they didn't talk to each other to see who was wearing what, but now I mean it's like 3 times they've appeared on TV wearing essentially the same type of stuff. So I don't know what the thinking was behind that, but. Whatever. The match happened. It's over. Tiffany won. She's still the champion. So there you go.
Which I was surprised because I figured Charlotte was going to go over.
Yeah. I was kind of half expecting that as well. But.
So I was pleasantly surprised.
Now we had they had the Hall of Fame. They showed highlights of the Hall of Fame from the previous night, or I should say from that morning. And they had the Hall of Fame inductees come out on stage, minus Lex Luger, who we already talked about. And there was a lot of talk about how when Triple H came out and he was shaking everyone's hand on the stage, that Bret Hart rolled his eyes at Triple H or something. And like we watched it back right before we started recording here, and I didn't see that. So I don't know what people are talking about. He
had a face like he couldn't care at all.
He had just a nonchalant
kind of whatever.
Face, like whatever. What do you?
He did like a kind of like he raised his eyebrows a little bit after, but it looked like he was reacting to somebody maybe in the crowd.
Somebody in the crowd was like maybe yelling to him or had a sign or something, and he just was reacting to that. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
It didn't look like he was rolling his eyes at Triple H. And you were saying he looks like he couldn't care less. And I was saying to you, well, what is this? Like it's his 3rd Hall of Fame induction. Mm-hmm. Like he's been inducted by himself. He got inducted as part of the Hart Foundation, and now one of his matches is being inducted. Like he's been there before. It's not a big deal to him, and he's an older guy now. He doesn't care. Like what does he give a shit?
Good for him.
So, but I didn't see. I think people were just trying to create something there that wasn't there. That's just my opinion. But anyway, figured we'd mention it because there was a lot of talk about it. Finally, we get to the main event. We have Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus CM Punk with Paul Heyman in CM Punk's corner.
Seth Rollins comes out in this like hefty bag type of coat with a flamethrower, shooting flames up at the screen above him that's behind him. And then it cuts to, I think, the crowd. And then it shows him again. He's in all white.
Yeah, like the lights went out for a second after he used the flamethrower. Like the lights kind of went out when he stopped with the flamethrower.
And I was like, he looks like he's trying to look like, now I'm forgetting the name. Is it from Spaceballs?
Lone Star?
Yes, Lone Star.
Bill Pullman's character.
Yes, Bill
from
Pullman's
Spaceballs.
character at the end for the wedding. I'm a prince. And he shows up. I'm like, okay. Kind of given that vibe.
All right.
But he comes out, again, a flamethrower. Okay, whatever. Not a grand entrance. Roman Reigns comes out alone.
Yeah, no wise man, no Paul Heyman, nobody with him.
Nobody.
Which you haven't seen in a long time.
And then CM Punk comes out with Paul Heyman.
No. CM Punk doesn't come out yet.
Well,
They played this like cool video for Punk.
true.
So he got the best entrance of the
Yes.
night. He gets like this video where it's like kind of conflating him from 20 years ago and stuff that he's saying with him now saying the same things, and they're like kind of meshing the audio together and the video together, which it was pretty cool. I gotta say
Yeah,
that
it was
was
a good
really
video.
cool. That made me think, oh shit, is he gonna win? Because he got like the best little video
Yes.
package and thing, and then
And
Living Color. The
Cult of
band
Personality.
that plays his entrance song, Cult of Personality, played him out to the ring. So that was cool. And then he came out with Paul Heyman after they got into like the first verse of the song.
I was doing the opposite, saying he came out, but
Yeah,
I forgot about the video package.
you're messing it all
I'm
up.
sorry.
Yeah. So I think he got the best entrance of
He
the
did.
night, I thought. So that was cool. And to see him, obviously, like the real life story there is that he's always wanted to main event WrestleMania, has never gotten the chance to till now. So it was good to see him do that. And I remember like, we'll talk about it after, but something that happened after the match with him. But the match itself, what'd you think of the match itself?
I thought it was good. It was a very solid match, and obviously the big part is the ending.
Well, yeah, that's the part everybody remembers. But I think leading up to that, I thought this was awesome.
It was great.
This was a fantastic main event. This is a WrestleMania main event. Like everything they did was great. Everything made sense.
Mhm.
Everything fit. The crowd reacted when you would think they would
yeah.
react. Everything was awesome. There
I-
was nothing that looked sloppy. Nothing looked like it was mistimed. I thought everything they did made sense, and it was just that's what a main event of WrestleMania should be.
Agreed. And another thing I want to mention is the crowd. This was what felt like the first time the crowd really got loud.
I don't know if they figured out the miking or what, but
Yeah, either they figured out the miking finally by the end of the night, or it was just everyone was so hot for
this
everybody.
is what everybody was waiting
Yeah.
for. Yeah, I agree. So the finish of the match, it was a pretty cool little sequence of things you had. It was I can't remember exactly how it went, but it was like everybody hit their finishing move, and then everybody was down. Like all three guys were down. They all hit their finishing moves on each other, and they're all down selling, and they're all hurt. And Paul Heyman, who has not done anything up to this point, CM Punk and Roman Reigns both look at him as they're down hurt, and Paul Heyman grabs a chair, and they're both looking at him like,
Who's it gonna be?
who's he going to help? Is he going to help his best friend CM Punk, or is he going to be loyal to the tribal chief Roman Reigns? And so Paul Heyman slides the chair to CM Punk. It's like, oh man, he's going with Punk.
And the facial
Roman Reigns.
expressions are so good.
Yes, Roman Reigns is like got this look of I've been betrayed. Like what the? How are you doing? I can't believe you're turning on me, kind of thing. And so Punk gets himself up to his feet. He rears back with the chair, and at the same time, Paul Heyman slides in the ring behind CM Punk and nut shots him. He hits him right in the balls from
Low
behind.
blow.
Low blow. Knocks him down. And so CM Punk never got to use the chair. He's betrayed by his best friend, Paul Heyman.
And what's worse is that he then gives the chair to Roman Reigns.
Well, Roman Reigns, seeing the nut shot, gets all excited and happy and is like, oh, good. Thank goodness. The wise man's with me. So, yes, as you said, Paul Heyman gives him the chair. And then Roman Reigns proceeds to hit CM Punk with the chair, what was it, like 3 or 4 times, really hard, beats him down. And it's like, wow, okay. So Heyman's with Roman. All right, cool. That's great. So that was a nice little touch. And then Paul Heyman notices Seth Rollins is starting to get up by the ropes, and he's got his back to Roman Reigns, and he starts pointing at Seth Rollins and yelling to Roman Reigns, look, he's right there. Get him. look, remember the Shield. And the way that, going back, very long-term storytelling, about 10 years ago, Seth Rollins broke up the famous Shield faction he was in with Roman Reigns by hitting Roman Reigns in the back with a chair. So, and they kind of revisited that whole thing last year at WrestleMania. Well, now Roman Reigns has his time to get a receipt to get Seth Rollins back with the chair. And he's winding up and he's about to hit Seth Rollins in the back with the chair. And Paul Heyman drops down behind and proceeds to give him a hand job. I'm sorry, a nut shot.
What?
But he's like moving his
like
hand
way up
back
in there,
and forth.
moving it back and forth.
And I'm just like, what the hell is he doing? Like, he gave him like this super nut shot, and he's like moving his hand back and forth over and over again.
He was doing it is
And
like, I'm getting way up there.
And
Good.
his face was like, what is going on?
Like, I'm going to bust those nuts.
So it was like the most over-exaggerated nut shot in the history of nut shots. What a low blow. Hit him right in the balls, in the dick, hit him in everything possible. Anything that was down there. Oh, my goodness. It was
he
like...
didn't want to miss his spot?
He didn't want to miss. He made sure he got everything. He got every cell of the man's genitalia was assaulted with this nut shot. I think
that was the highlight of the match. I'm crying right now. My eyes are just tearing up from laughing.
So the
hard.
big turn. So Paul Heyman turned on CM Punk and Roman Reigns. And then Seth Rollins, who still has his back turned. And I think he was positioned perfectly because he's probably looking at one of the big screens that's up in the arena. And so he just holds his hand out. And without turning around, he's still got his back turned to all this. He's not actually watching this with his own eyes. He holds his hand out, Paul Heyman hands him the chair, and then he proceeds to hit Roman Reigns with the chair in the back again, and then he hits the ropes, hits Roman Reigns with his curb stomp finishing move, and rolls him up and pins him. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins wins the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. And leaves with Paul Heyman by his side. Wow.
And I don't know what hurt Roman Reigns more, being the betrayal from his wise man or that nut shot.
The chair shot or the nut shot.
Yeah.
I don't know which one. But I think he already has like 5 kids, so he was probably like, hey, just get right up in there, Paul.
Yeah.
I've already got 5 kids. I don't need any more.
I don't want a vasectomy, so we'll just do this.
So yeah, and then the thing I was going to mention too was it was kind of cool. You see after the show kind of ends, they start with their post show, and you see CM Punk standing in the ring by himself after Roman Reigns walked out. Everybody walks out, slowly, whatever. He stands up in the ring by himself. You can see he's just kind of like taking it all in. And if you can read lips, you could see he says out loud, like to himself. You can see he's saying to himself, "I fucking did it." Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's great. Like, what a story, And that wasn't like anything the camera was zooming in on. It was just kind of for himself. But that's like, that shows you. I mean, like, fuck. Like I say to my kids all the time, hard work pays off. Believe in yourself. That guy, hey, whether you like him, hate him, or indifferent to him, he proved that you work hard, you believe in yourself, you can do things.
Yeah,
so
that was a
good.
great match.
Yeah, excellent. Excellent main event.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we still got night 2 to talk about. So let's get into night 2. We start with the pre-show of night 2, the countdown show. Same idea. Starts at 4, 3 hours long. Only newsworthy thing that happens there, it's actually pretty newsworthy. Bayley gets attacked backstage. We don't know by who. It never shows us. And it just shows her being tended to by people backstage. And then the people she was supposed to face, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, start strolling in with their gear bags and their luggage like they're just showing up to the show, and they're playing dumb like they don't know what happened or whatever, and it's insinuated that they attacked her, but we don't know. So,
but now they've already been falsely accused of attacking Jade Cargill in the past.
Correct. So you're like, wow, interesting. So then it comes out with Adam Pearce, who's the Raw general manager, comes in and he says to Lyra Valkyria, well, you've got to find a partner if you want to. She says, I want to wrestle them both myself. And he's like, you got to find a partner. So she's got a couple hours to find a partner.
And can I just, that was the day before, so she had like 24 hours. But I just want to point out, Bayley's on the floor. oh, my shoulder. And one of the medic guys or whoever from the WWE team is like, this doesn't look good. What do you mean it doesn't look good? There's no swelling. There's no blood. There's no bruising. What exactly are you seeing that we aren't? Do you have like Superman X-ray vision that you can get in there and see? But the way he tried to sell it was like, and you know this how? So
Are you a trained professional? No. Jeez, you're so critical.
I'm just saying it was a little too much.
You're such a critic.
Little too cheeseball.
All right. So let's get into the matches. The opening contest. And again, the crowd way more
Night
alive,
and day difference.
seeming. And I think it was a mic, the way they mic'd them.
And it was funny because during like the first night, I'm thinking maybe just everyone's so tired from the Hall of Fame like we are.
Could be. I mean, that could be. You never
But then
know.
I'm like, no, not all those people were at the Hall of Fame.
True. Yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
So the first match was Io Sky defending the women's championship against Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair in a triple threat 3-way match.
Your thoughts?
Excellent match.
Yes.
Excellent match. I think this, if this could have been a main event, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
It easily could have main evented one of the nights. And honestly, if you look back on it, this probably should have main evented night 2.
Yeah.
Based on what happened, but which we'll get to shortly. But yeah, no, I thought it was excellent. Io Sky retained the championship.
Mm-hmm.
I thought all 3 women looked great. Everything, it was physical. Oh, wow, was this a physical match?
Yeah.
And it was good. Like, there was a lot of moments where I was like, oh,
Yeah.
damn, like, and things that you just didn't expect to happen that happened and stuff. It was very good. Very good match. I enjoyed it.
There was nothing in it that made me feel disappointed. Everyone. Because they're all so talented. And this was a match I really wanted to see because I really wanted to see Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. And then Io Sky getting added into the dynamic. And the way they're building it up, like the two of them just push her aside, and she's smaller than everyone. But they pulled it off so well. Again, like the match with CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns, you have these 3 people. And it just gelled so well. Timing of everything was great. It was a great match, and it just exceeded all of my expectations of it.
I agree 100%. I thought it was excellent. Excellent match. Next, we had the Sin City Street Fight between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. Drew McIntyre entrance.
He comes out with gear again for another game. So there's something about they must have timed it for the second match of the night for both nights is going to be the promotional game thing. Drew McIntyre did not look very pleased about it. And when he tried to get into the ring, like the spikes on like whatever he was wearing on over his shoulder got caught and they cut away with the camera so he could get in the ring. He just looked so annoyed.
Yeah, he looked pretty angry. He looked, which is, whatever. Hey,
would he have looked like that going into the match anyway? I don't know, but
I don't think so.
out.
I think that was kind of one of those deals where WWE got paid a whole bunch of money sponsorship for this particular match, and that he was, wow.
Sorry.
He was. You all right over there?
Yeah, I had to cough and I hit mute and I turned away from the mic to cough.
She mutes and then hits the mic stand and everything
bad.
else.
Sorry.
Good job. Well done.
Thanks.
Anyhow, we're leaving that in, by the way. I'm not editing that. Yeah, he just, I think it was a sponsorship thing. Obviously, they whatever the video game was, it was like Doom something. Our son knew what it was. And so we were like, oh, okay. And then I guess the Damian Priest's entrance was also somehow related to the Doom.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. It was something having to do with on his entrance video up on the screen. It showed like again, our son explained it all to us. I have no idea.
I was too occupied with Kerry King.
I have no idea. And yeah, Kerry King from formerly of Slayer, or still of Slayer, I guess. I guess they still play some shows here and there. The guitarist from Slayer, he's the one that helped play
Yeah, that was really cool.
Damian Priest out to the ring. Yeah, that was cool.
And I noticed Damian Priest taking that moment just to take it in. Like, this is Kerry King.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I noticed a lot of wrestlers doing that, just taking in the moment of it all, going a little slower, really looking around, letting it sink in. And I thought that was great.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of that, too, I know, like, a lot of the behind-the-scenes videos they show and stuff like that, that's a lot of Triple H telling guys that, or girls that, like, before they go out. Like, you see him, like, having those talks with people, so that's pretty cool that he does that kind of stuff. And it's good that the talent's taking his advice, and actually you can see the ones that are actually stopping, looking around, like, really soaking it in. Hopefully it's not just for the camera. Hopefully they're really doing it for themselves, because that's a pretty big deal.
And what did you think of this match?
I thought they both worked really hard. I thought it was good. Again, it was nothing like super out of this world awesome, but I thought it was very good. It was entertaining. Drew McIntyre again, 2 years in a row, WrestleMania, taking a selfie of himself and posting it on Twitter immediately. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, so bored at work again.
Yeah, I think it was like his brother or something. The commentaries guys said that his brother had his phone and handed it to him. And he gets down and takes a picture of himself next to Damian Priest, who's on the ground, just hurt, selling or whatever. And he takes a quick picture of himself smiling, tweets something out, runs the phone back to his brother, who the camera catches sprinting away for whatever reason. Probably trying to get somewhere where there's a signal so he could tweet it out for his brother. I thought that was hilarious. So that was funny. And they did a neat little thing. I can't remember if it was the end or not, but it was essentially leading to the finish was Damian Priest falling from the top rope through two tables that had gotten set up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, maybe 7-8 minutes earlier. So that was good. That I like when guys do that, when they'll set stuff up and then they almost forget that it's there for a while, which is good. Because by the time they get back to it, it's more of a, like a surprise kind of thing. Yeah. And WWE, their production's really good about shooting around it, so you don't really see it. Like, you see it get set up, but then they try not to really catch it again in the frame. So you the viewer watching at home, kind of forgets that it's there too. So I think that that's really good. So that was pretty cool.
I love this match. I thought it was entertaining. Drew McIntyre is just so good. He's entertaining, but I think he's a really good wrestler. I talked about it last year when I said how when he first came to WWE, wasn't impressed. We think a lot of that was probably because of what was being controlled,
what he was allowed
to do. Because now it's like he's entertaining and he's just really fun to watch and exciting to watch.
Agreed. Yeah. So he's definitely continues to be one of the better guys on that show, which is good. The next match we had was a 4-way match. So you had 4 wrestlers, all every man for himself kind of deal. For the Intercontinental Championship, the champion Braun Breaker defended against Dirty Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, and Penta.
So Dom and Finn are both in the Judgment Day, which leads to the building up conundrum of Finn's jealousy and
conundrum.
Yeah, like what are they gonna do? How are they gonna?
Do you know what a conundrum is?
It's a problem.
Okay, just making sure. Go ahead.
I'm aware.
I don't think you used it. I don't think you used it properly there.
I'll use it however I want.
Fair
it's
enough.
The issue, the problem of Finn getting jealous, and how are they gonna deal? How are they gonna react with it? We don't know.
Yeah. Well, we found out in the match.
We did.
So the first thing I got to say is Dominic Mysterio was cheered like crazy coming out, which was kind of funny. But yeah, again, this is the WrestleMania crowd.
He really won people over, though.
Oh gosh, I think he's won people over just by his performance week in and week out. Whether that's in front of the people out in the arena, in the ring, doing interview segments, or coming out and interfering in matches, or the matches when he wrestles himself, or backstage in the backstage vignettes and interview segments and stuff. He's just gold. The kid is just gold. I call him a kid because I think he's like 23 or 24, so he's young. And yeah, he's second generation. His dad is Rey Mysterio. Yes, whatever. But he's just, it doesn't matter. Like that kid, you can tell he just gets it, and he's so good. Like, it's amazing that he's only been doing this for 3-4 years. He's so good. So the audience picks up on that. They get it. They realize it. They appreciate it. And the WrestleMania fans are the ones that, again, follow this stuff closely, and they appreciate talent. So, of course, he got cheered. He probably got the biggest pop of the weekend when he won, because he ended up winning.
And it was interesting because when he won the match, because Carlito had come out.
Yes.
So Carlito's there. And wasn't it like Liv and Raquel come running out? Was that?
I don't think so. I don't believe so.
They didn't?
They might have come out after he won.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. After he won.
Yeah, sure.
When he was walking away. But Finn was left behind. Finn, who took one for the team, he's hurting.
Dominic pinned him for the win.
Yeah, but he before took one for the team and then basically helped Tom, and then Tom turned on him.
Yeah,
got the pin on him.
Hey, it's every man for himself.
I get it. And he's left behind. Not a, hey, pick you up, shake your hand, look what we did, this is great. But almost like, yeah, fuck him.
Well, they've been teasing this breakup with Finn Balor for, it's been months now. So it looks like they're finally starting, but they're still very, very slow in pulling the trigger on it. Yeah, because the next night on Raw, they were back together again.
But it's that, and it's an awkwardness that's not that cringe, uncomfortable. I don't want to watch this awkwardness. It's the like, oh, where's this going? Like, this is awkward, and we're all gonna watch and enjoy it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
So that was really good, and he got such a reaction that he was walking up the ramp, and I think the ref told him go back into the ring and celebrate, almost like take another bow kind of thing.
That's right.
Because he ran back in the ring again, which I think he was on his way out, and they told him go back out there and get back in the ring because the people were going just nuts for him. So he went back out, and they went even crazier when he got back in the ring and got up on the second rope and posed with the belt and celebrated some more. So yeah, good for him. I enjoyed the match. I thought it was great. Thought everybody in it looked good. Braun Breaker with a crazy spear on Carlito again, which as soon as he came out, I think I might have even said out loud to everybody watching.
Wait for the spear.
He's here to get speared by Breaker.
Yep.
He's here to get speared, but take some kind of a big spear. And they did it. What would they do? They went from the announce tables, right? Like Braun Breaker jumped from one announce table onto Carlito, who was on another one, and speared him through the table and got the big reaction, which is great. But yeah, Braun Breaker looked awesome in that match, and he didn't get pinned to lose the title, so he can always make that claim. Yeah, I lost the match, but I'm not the one that got beat, So, all right. Anything else about that match you want to mention?
I was just happy Dom Mysterio won. It was great.
Yeah, I think everybody in our house was like on the same page with the people that were in the stadium.
Maybe he'll go get some. I was like, maybe he'll get some chicky tendies after.
Right. The next match was Randy Orton came out, and he did not have an announced opponent, so this was going to be a surprise.
And we were still guessing.
He issued an open challenge on Friday Night SmackDown, so 2 days before this match. He issues the open challenge. He says, I'm going to be there at WrestleMania. Whoever wants to show up and fight me, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So everybody, of course, he gets a big reaction coming out. The whole crowd singing his theme song and stuff. And then I think he might have cut a promo or something too. He got on the mic and he said something and whatever, like whoever it is, come on out. And then who came out is not who I expected. That thought never crossed my mind even once. I thought it was going to be some returning guy or some debuting guy or something like that. But instead we got
Solo Sikoa or somebody.
Or Solo Sikoa. Yeah, somebody that's already on the roster that didn't have a scheduled match. But instead we got
Joe Hendry? Is that his name?
Yeah, that's how you say it. The TNA Wrestling Heavyweight Champion.
No, he was in the Royal Rumble.
He was.
And I thought, who's this guy? Because we don't watch TNA. And it's like, okay. So he comes out and I'm thinking, who's this guy? Oh, wait, he's the guy from the Royal Rumble. Okay. All right. It wasn't bad. It was I think the best part is right before Randy Orton did his RKO. Apparently Joe Hendry's thing is he kind of does this like turn and he has like this smile on his face and then he gets RKO. So it's just this like happy, pleasant smile on his boom RKO.
Yeah, he is. I guess that's his thing. I don't know. I've only seen him the same amount of times you've seen him, and I guess that's his trademark.
Yeah.
He's got his back to the camera, and then he quickly turns around. He's got this weird smile on his
almost
face.
Almost like a pirouette, sort of.
And the camera kind of zooms in on his face as he turns, kind of thing, whatever. So they did that. Only this time when he did it, place popped huge, big reaction because the smart wrestling fans, I guess, know who he is. And out of nowhere, Randy Orton RKO's him, hits him with his finishing move, pins him 1, 2, 3. I think they went maybe 3 minutes.
It was quick.
Very quick.
But I wasn't mad at it because I was tired. It's been a long couple nights, and I was like, okay.
You're like, just get in and out. I don't care
let's go.
Wrestling. Let's just get this
well,
match.
Just
let's get
because
the show
I'm like,
over with.
I don't really know this guy, and what I was watching was okay, but I wasn't super into it. So I feel like what they did for that, keeping it short, it was fine.
Do you think that was beneficial to the TNA heavyweight champion to get beaten in like 3 minutes by Randy Orton?
Well, I think they did that because then Randy Orton, he picks him up, shakes, it's all good, and then RKO's him again. But at the end, he still kind of gave him a pat on the back. So it came off to me like, got to put Randy Orton over. He has to win. But they're bringing somebody from TNA into WWE. So it's almost like, does it really matter that the guy lost? He's now in WWE.
Well, he's not in WWE yet.
He's wrestling at WrestleMania.
He probably will be. Well, see, and that's I completely I think you're looking at this the correct way. I guess a lot of people were angry and thought, "Oh, they squashed the TNA champion, blah blah blah, whatever." Morons. It's called the professional wrestling business, and in the business, you want exposure. Where is a better place for TNA wrestling to get exposure than on the biggest wrestling show of the year, WrestleMania? And he's wrestling Randy Orton, who's a legend there already. He's a living legend. And who cares if he just got in the ring and the bell rang and he got RKO'd right there? Even that would have been something because people were talking about it. And now even more people who maybe didn't know who this guy was before, now maybe even more people know. And apparently he's got like a huge following online, social media, yada, yada.
And now he might have even more.
But now more people know who he is. I guess he's been on that NXT show a lot too, which we don't see it. So I think it was a positive overall for this guy.
I agree.
And I mean, anybody that says, "Oh, he got squashed, that buried him," and this, it's like you don't understand business. That wasn't a burial. Even like I said, even if he went in and got RKO'd right away, I'm sure for the human being himself, that was a huge thrill for the guy. Professionally, it was probably a huge thrill for the guy, and I'm sure his bank account wasn't mad at it either. He probably got a hell of a payday for that. And again, it boosts his exposure everywhere else.
I look at it this way. A guy I didn't know. See him at Royal Rumble. So he came in. Oh, I remember for him from Royal Rumble. But now it's like, okay, he might be on my radar now. I might be, if I see him again, I'll remember. So it's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, he was in WrestleMania. So for somebody who's not familiar with him at all, now he's on more people's radar. That's not a bad thing.
No, not at all. But it's not just about him. They said the TNA name over and over again and put it on his graphic when he came out under his name, TNA Heavyweight Champion. They talked about it. They're putting over that company. And that company, which again, we don't watch it. We haven't, there's only so many hours in the day. But they're selling out everywhere they're running lately. They're gaining popularity. Great. They're gaining momentum since they've kind of entered this working relationship with WWE, which is excellent for them. So this only boosts their profile even more. So if anything, it does good for that business. Just having them even mentioned on a WWE show, never mind having their champion. He was essentially that. Well, he did. I mean, yes, he lost quickly, but he was showcased. That was a featured match. There was a lot of people waiting to see who's Randy Orton going to wrestle. and that's who they put in the spot. So for anybody that looks at that as a burial, I don't think you get how business works. But anyway, so that match was quick. It was, I guess, newsworthy. Yeah, moving on from that. Next match was AJ Styles taking on Logan Paul.
Our middle child who hates Logan Paul. I just have to laugh because with a passion, with a burning passion, hates him. And it's great because like kid's doing a good job. He's getting heat and he's doing a good job about it, but he's such a good wrestler. This match was interesting. Karrion Kross comes out and gives AJ brass knuckles. Well, I'm sorry. Logan Paul's buddy, who was in the crowd,
some random guy who nobody knows who the hell this is.
Some rando.
But he's acting like people should know who he is, and the way like his facial expressions, his mannerisms, and the announcers are calling him. I don't remember what his name was, but they're saying his name, and I'm just like, are we supposed to know who this guy is?
Don't care.
Is anybody supposed to know who this is?
But he has brass knuckles.
Like what?
To give him to Logan Paul, and then Karrion Kross, you see like somebody's hand in their arm, and stops him and basically takes them. What, did he push the guy?
Yeah.
They show it's Karrion Kross. And he's trying to get AJ to use the brass knuckles, convincing him, it's the right thing to do. And AJ takes the brass knuckles, chucks it, hits like the steps. And
no, he missed the steps. He tried to hit the steps,
yeah.
But he missed.
He was aiming for the steps.
Well, you want to hit the steps because then you get the loud sound.
Yeah.
So the crowd, the audience, people at home, everybody hears it. Those are real brass knuckles that just hit the steel steps. Of course, he missed, but that's what he was aiming for.
That happens.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, but so he ends up not using them, and then he loses to Logan Paul.
Yeah. So the interesting thing here was the Karrion Kross coming out, and they did something with him on the. Like he got a pretty big reaction in the Battle Royal on SmackDown the night before WrestleMania, and it was heavily booed when he got eliminated. He's from Las Vegas, so I'm sure that's his hometown crowd. I don't think a lot of the people in WrestleMania on night 1 and 2, I'm sure most of them were not from Las Vegas, but anyway. So when he came out, it was kind of surprising. They've been doing some stuff with him on Raw, like just some interviews. I think he actually wrestled AJ like a week or two ago.
Yeah.
But he did something on the red carpet right before the Hall of Fame.
That's right.
Coming into the Hall of Fame where I forget, I don't know I couldn't really tell what it was, but I think some producer
told him it was okay to come, but AJ Styles was like right there.
Like either right behind him or right in front of him. And
they had to cross paths.
They had to cross paths on camera. And they just had wrestled, I think, on the previous Raw. And after the match was done, Kross beat him down, leading to Logan Paul coming in and beating AJ down or whatever it was. But Kross, like the last time you saw them on TV, he was beating the hell out of AJ. And now here you have them on the red carpet and they don't even interact kind of thing. So Kross on camera starts yelling at the camera guy, the producer behind the camera, the director, whoever the hell, he's yelling at somebody. I don't know who did this. It's not funny. Oh, what's wrong with you? It's not professional. He was just going off on this guy.
I'm pissed.
And you could tell, he's like, no, I'm serious. I'm pissed. Like, he just kept going off. And you could see it in his face. Like, I know he's been in movies and stuff, and I know he's into acting and everything. So if he was acting, he did a great job. If it was legit, I get where he's coming from, because that does kind of, even though they tell everybody everything and they're so open and exposing the business and how it works, that's still kind of one of those things. He came in, I think, he's been around for like 10, 15 years. So he came in when this stuff was still kind of protected. He probably learned, like, you got to protect the business a little bit. You don't want to tell everybody we're all buddies. You don't want to just throw in people's faces like The Rock does.
We'll talk about that after.
Right. We'll get back to that. But so I think that's why if he was legitimately angry. But then now I question if that was a legitimate thing, because what was it, the day after WrestleMania on Monday during the day when he did some promo or something?
Yeah, it was,
and it was all over the internet. I didn't see it. You showed it to me. I had no idea. You tell me stuff all the time. I'm like, where do you find this stuff? So you're whoever you're following or watching or looking at.
I got the right kind of algorithms.
You've got, I guess so, because I don't see any of this stuff. But you showed me this, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Where he kind of like cut a scathing promo, and basically what did he say, like, to the producers in the truck, fuck you, or something like that. Like, that's from Killer Cross.
Well, because he was going off about, Logan Paul and how somebody like him just basically shows up and he gets all these matches, and the veterans, the people who've been doing this for 10 years, like, oh, well, doesn't matter. You get nothing. And he said how nobody wants to listen to ideas. He's going off. It's like, oh yeah, got a great idea for Scarlett. And they're like, oh, that's a really good idea, but that's more for like the upper talent, not for you guys. And he just like did this great scathing promo, and he's all fired up. And Scarlett did such a good job with the concerned wife look of and she's like, Kevin, and like using his real name. And
yeah, you're using people's real names. He's saying Alan over and over, which is AJ Styles' real name. And it was just, it's what they call in the wrestling business a worked shoot. But so he's using real information, real names, maybe real feelings that he had at the time, but he's using them in the context of a worked promo, wrestling promo.
And
he swore, and he used his former wrestling name. He called himself Killer Cross. All this stuff to get the internet, the smart, quote unquote, wrestling fans, the easiest ones to work, by the way, got them talking and got some heat, some publicity for himself.
Yeah.
Now, I presume, I mean, and I guess from what I saw later on, this was on a WWE podcast or something.
I forget the two people.
So obviously it's a WWE produced thing. It's not like he just went into business for himself and just did this thing on a podcast and it went viral. This is the direction they're going with him. And I think it's about time, because he's a really talented guy, and he's really, really good at anything he does. He just hasn't really shown it. It has not translated yet to TV what he's capable of, because the roles that he'd been put in, not very flattering to his skill set.
No, and
so I think now. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I remember seeing him in TNA and watching him and Scarlett. I'm like, he's really good. Yeah. And I thought he should get in WWE. So when he came to WWE, I was really excited. I get to see like he's really good. And I was like, what the hell?
Well, he went to NXT first.
That's right.
When Triple H was running it, and of course he was excellent there. They allowed him to be who he was, how he got notoriety, how he gained popularity and everything. And then as soon as he went up to the main roster and Vince McMahon got hold of him, I think he was wearing like suspenders one week or so. I didn't see it. We had stopped watching for a period of a couple of years there. We'd only watch like the pay-per-views. But I guess it was really bad. Like, they just killed him, basically. I mean, they just made you not care about this guy at all. And it was really a shame. But hopefully now in 2025, we're going to get to see what this guy's capable of, because he's really good. I think if they give him the ball and they give him something he can sink his teeth into, he'll knock it out of the park.
I really want to see that. And I remember I saw Scarlett in the ring, and she was good too. And I thought, like, why are you using her as like manager, valet, eye candy? Like, let's see what she can do as well.
That's her role, I guess. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't want to wrestle anymore. I have no idea. We don't know the intricacies of their contract status, their personal lives, what they really want. Who knows?
I'd like to see.
But yeah, she was capable for sure. She was more than passable when I saw her. I mean, this was years ago, so I can only presume they've gotten better, or she's gotten better.
I'd like to see him let him take the ball and run with it. Let's see what they can do.
So I had to mention that. But yeah, he played a small part in the outcome of this match, and Logan Paul, of course, ends up with the win, beating AJ Styles at WrestleMania, really angering our son. Go ahead.
So the next match, we have the women's tag team champions, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, and they're up against, it's Lyra Valkyria, and Bailey's hurt. Who's her mystery partner?
Who's the mystery partner going to be?
So we were saying it's probably going to be Becky Lynch. And we were right.
Yes.
And I was just kind of like, eh.
The non-surprise surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember, I don't know if on the podcast, but I remember telling Alex a lot. I feel like, I don't know if it was after she came back either from an injury or from having a baby. I don't know what changed because I used to love watching her wrestle, but it was like something changed and she always just seemed a little off. And I just didn't enjoy it as much. So again, I'm thinking, I haven't been impressed with her, even though she's been gone for a while. Let's see what happens. And I still wasn't as impressed. The match overall was good. Lyra Valkyria is really good.
She's excellent.
She's great.
Yes.
Liv and Raquel, great. What they're doing.
They're excellent too.
They are. Becky, she was kind of like the odd one out. It was fine for what they were doing. But it also feels like, okay, so you have somebody who, Lyra's what, the Intercontinental Women's Champion?
Correct.
So she's already got a championship. And it's like slapping together a tag team for what? But.
Well, you had to get Becky back on the show.
Yeah.
somehow.
So there you go. You have Becky and Lyra. They end up winning.
Can I tell you, going back to what you were saying
Yeah.
about whenever she came back and you thought she was a step off, I thought when she did this thing where she became the man, Becky Lynch, I thought ever since then, her work has gone downhill. Ever since then. That was even before she had her kid, I think. I think whenever she adopted that gimmick and that moniker, ever since then, her popularity went up, her push, her TV time went up, all that stuff increased, but I feel like her work went downhill ever since then. So it's been years.
Yeah,
that
it's
I've been
a
like,
while.
okay, she's past her peak. And a lot of it, I think, is her doing more of what they call a main event style. She doesn't do as much stuff, saving her body, being a little more intelligent with the way she works. The problem with that is the other women, they have stepped up their game so much that if Becky doesn't dial it back up a little bit, I think, then she's gonna get the Charlotte Flair treatment pretty soon.
Oh, that's okay. They
And-
were already calling her Becky Hogan.
But
Online.
there you go. And they, sure enough, they followed up the very next night on Raw. She already turned heel. She already turned on Lyra,
Which we figured was going to come.
I think I called it beforehand. I said, well, if Seth Rollins is a heel now and his wife just comes back and they say it all the time on TV, they're married. It's not a secret. They're going to have to turn her heel too. Otherwise, how do you get around that on TV? Well,
and they did it within almost 24
they
hours.
did it 24 hours later. It was done.
Yeah. So Becky and Lyra win.
And it was a nothing match. It really was a nothing match. There was no ups and downs, twists and turns. It was very basic match.
Yeah.
And when the 3 happened, I was like, oh,
Okay.
all right. Okay. There was no build to it at all. It just kind of came out of nowhere. Becky gets the 1, 2, 3. Here you go. Welcome back. Here's a belt for you. Celebrate.
And I'm going to throw it out there. I'm a mom. I'm a woman. I can say this. After WrestleMania and the press conference, Becky Lynch came out with her daughter and with Lyra Valkyria. And she, keeps letting her daughter talk. And at first you're like, oh, yeah, that's cute. Okay. And then it's like, okay, enough. Somebody get the kid off the floor. Like, you're here for a press conference. You're
I hate
letting
that.
your toddler run this.
Yeah.
It was annoying.
Yeah. Why are you okay, you want to be there with your child. That's great. You can't just leave your child with your husband, who's also there backstage, for 10 minutes so you can go out and do this press conference.
Yeah, she totally did that on purpose to show off her kid.
Obviously, hey, let's show off our kid. And then let her talk as much as possible. It's like, come on.
And
nobody's there to see her. Nobody's there to see your child. No offense to the child.
Looking back now, is it possible she did that to come over more baby face? More like, look what a good mom I am. I have my kid. And then
everything
the heel
was designed
turn.
to make that heel turn seem more devastating.
Yeah.
But the problem with that was when she turned heel the next day, the place went nuts and they cheered her. She gave her finishing whatever the heck she calls it, the slam, whatever, Becky slam, whatever it's called. She gives the finishing move to Lyra Valkyria, and then the crowd's chanting one more time. And what does Becky do? The badass heel, she gets back in and gives it to her again one more time. And she did it 3 times.
Yeah, I was gonna say she did it
I'm
like
like,
3 times.
okay, so you're a heel. You want people to hate you, but you're doing exactly what they want you to do and get them to cheer you more. I don't get it. It lost on me. There's no psychology there. I'm sorry. If you want to be hated and a heel, you don't give it to her 3 times because, yes, I see that she's being vicious. That's how it's sold. That's how that's rationalized by the people doing it. However, to the viewer at home who maybe is just turning on Raw for the first time or didn't see WrestleMania, has no idea, whatever. The person that's turning it on for is like, wow, she's really popular, huh? I guess I should like her. Like you know what I mean? Like the whole point is the crowd that's there is part of the show. And as the performer, you are supposed to get them to do what you want them to do. You're supposed to get them to emote a certain way. Unless I'm an idiot, which I could very well be, I'll never rule that out. If you're a heel, if you're a bad guy or a bad girl, a villain, you don't want people to like you. Because if that is your goal, then you are a good guy or a baby face, using wrestling terminology. So if she wanted to get booed, she does the turn, hits her with her finish, and the crowd may chant one more time, and she maybe goes to pick her up like she's going to do it, and then just throws her down and maybe like puts her foot on her throat or something and just cusses her out. You don't give the people what they want, is my point, because you don't want them cheering you. But you can tease it, and you can, if you're good at what you do, and you can make people hate you. But again, this could have been the direction she was given, so who knows?
And it was funny because after that, Twitter was blowing up calling her Becky Hogan.
Why were they calling her Becky Hogan? Could you explain that?
Basically, they were calling her Becky Hogan, which to me, it's like, oh, has to insert themselves into this and has to come out and make it about them. And I think just how Hulk Hogan comes off very self-serving for his own ego, even though he's in business for himself. I get that. They're basically saying Becky Lynch is the same thing. And while I don't necessarily agree with that 100%, I still found it amusing.
I don't agree with that any percent. She was booked in that position. Yeah. It's not like she just went, hey, by the way, I want to wrestle for the tag titles and win. She didn't do that. That's what she was instructed to do. Do you really think at this point any wrestler there might be some, I don't know, but they all get paid ridiculous amounts of money.
Which good for them.
They work less than they've ever worked before. Mm-hmm. And when I say work, I'm talking about actual wrestling. There's guys that go to the shows that are there that maybe don't get used, or if they do get used, they're just doing a promo segment. They're not actually wrestling or getting hurt. Do you think these guys really care anymore, or gals, if they're a champion or not? Somebody like a Becky Lynch who's already done it a million times, do you think she came back and went, I want to win the tag belts? That's why it makes me laugh when I see that kind of a reaction and response, because, like, you guys really think she gives a shit?
Well,
like, come
the
on.
other aspect was
you want to be mad at someone, be mad at Triple H for booking it.
Yeah.
Well,
the thing, again, people are like, oh, she's going to become a Charlotte if they keep doing this with people, where people are going to be gone and then you just insert them into something big that they didn't even work towards to get. And it was like, okay, I get what you're trying to say. I don't think you're articulating it properly with the Becky Hogan. I feel like I get what they're saying, though. But
that, again, that just shows you how quickly and how easily the quote-unquote smart wrestling fan is worked. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, if I'm a writer at WWE or I'm Triple H, and if I'm looking at this stuff, I'm going, well, I know what I'm doing now. Mm-hmm. You're giving me ideas. You're telling me what to do. So it's, I guess, a blessing for the creative forces at WWE.
Sure.
All right, so that was the semi-main event. And then they had probably the highlight of the evening for me. It was a wonderful, wonderful thing. Night one, we had HBK, Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, came out to announce attendance. So tonight we had someone else come out to announce the attendance, and it was Stone Cold Steve Austin. The glass broke. The place went crazy because here comes the legend, Stone Cold.
The glass shatters. The music's playing.
It takes forever for him to get out onto the stage, and come to find out later on, it's because he's driving an ATV, a four-wheeler, and I guess when he was driving it underneath the stage to drive up a ramp that was on the side of the stage, to get onto the main stage to come down towards the ring. He missed it. I guess he missed the ramp, so he had to drive around again to do like a turn to come back around to get on it again, and then he got stuck. Like his tire got stuck on the ramp, so they had to have a bunch of production guys come over and jimmy the thing out and get it out from under the ramp so that he could drive up the ramp. It took probably a good 30 seconds, 45 seconds before he actually showed up on the main stage because it took forever. They kept cutting to the stage, and then they would cut to crowd shots of the place going nuts. And, of course, his music's blasting.
Everyone's off their feet.
Crowd's going nuts. Everyone's on their feet. And it just took forever. Then finally he shows up. The place goes even crazier, and he comes racing down the freaking first he stops at the top of the stage, stands up, looked like he was going to fall over, probably because his adrenaline is just going so much. But he stands up and he double birds the whole crowd. And then he races down the ramp and he goes around ringside and he's speeding around. He's cranking around the ring.
I know. I remember
he does
thinking,
one whole turn around the ring. And I'm thinking, all right, he's going to stop here.
He's pretty confident in his driving.
I'm thinking, all right, he's going to stop now and he's going to get off and get in the ring and do whatever he's here to do because we didn't know what he was going to do yet.
Nope.
And then he starts for a second lap around the ring. And as he passes the announce table and takes that turn, wham! He hits the barricade. He crashes the ATV. And then we see a woman who took 3 to 5 business days to take a fall after getting hit and land in her chair.
No, first of all, he hit that barricade and I said, oh, he started drinking early. And yes, he hits the barricade and this woman falls over. And I'm like, is she a woman or is she actually like a younger
We couldn't tell
girl?
It
was hard to tell.
Hard to tell.
But so all over the internet, people are talking about it because it was a delayed fall. And it was only like a second or two. But if you really watch, it was 3
to 5 business days. It was a really long time.
If you really watch, you can see the tire of the four-wheeler crushed in the bottom.
The bottom of what?
Of the barricade.
The barricade, yes.
So if her foot or something like a pant leg was caught under that could have caused her to fall back.
You have all kinds of excuses and theories for this.
I do.
Just please go through all of them because they're amazing.
And then also, not just that, but if you watch... I was going over it with Alex like it's the freaking JFK assassination video.
Yeah. Like
back
we're watching the Zapruder
left.
film.
I know. And I'm like, watch. It looks like the guy next to her puts his arm down and it almost looks like he tried to pull on her, like to grab her for his balance, and she got pulled down. So it's very possible what happened was that guy lost his balance, grabbed her for some stability, and pulled her down.
So Stone Cold stops, gets off
and
the ATV.
She looked pissed.
He says something he like leans over the barricade, says something to her. You can't see what he's saying. You can only see the back of his head. Mm-hmm. But he's obviously like, oh shit, And he gets in the ring and he announces the
He gets some beers.
No, not yet. He announces the attendance. Then he says, that seems kind of bullshit to me. I'm going to have to count. You know what they say? If you want something, get something job done right, you do it yourself. So he starts counting everybody in the crowd. And that was just to get everybody to do his
like to 20,
thing.
yeah. Didn't work.
He gets to 20. No, it did.
Pat McAfee did it.
Pat McAfee did it, but the people started coming after like 8 or 9. They came too. People were doing the what. And then he stops at 20 and he says, whatever. The total it out. Give yourselves a hand. Whatever he says.
It was like, what, 62,000?
63. And then he gives the total attendance for both nights. And then he calls for the beers and he does the Stone Cold thing. He drinks a bunch of beers, goes up in all the corners, toasts everybody, dumps the beer all over himself, drinks maybe a sip of it, and then goes back outside to where the lady is.
He should have offered her a beer.
Right. And says something to her again. And Nick Khan
was
the president of WWE, the head honcho, everybody, higher on the totem pole than Triple H, he's out there talking to her personally. So he knew obviously this could be something serious, and he was there to try to nip it in the bud and maybe, take care of her any way that he could. And I found out later that she paid $30,000 for that ticket.
Oh.
And the only reason I know that is because I guess there was video on social media. I did not see this. I read it somewhere that she was at a meet and greet with Randy Orton wearing the same clothing. So it was her, and people like went back and saw it and put the 2 and 2 together. Oh, hey, that's her. And she was telling Randy Orton in the meet and greet, yeah, I paid $30,000 for my ringside ticket. And Randy Orton himself couldn't believe she paid that much. He said, Randy Orton on this video said, that's embarrassing that we're charging that much money. Like, he said that on this video. So this lady pays $30,000 and she's pissed that Stone Cold crashed. Now, I got to say, I was surprised that it took this many years, as many times as he's come to the ring on an ATV and raced around it. It took this long for him to finally crash. He's never crashed before. So finally to crash and to be the one that is immortalized, to be hit, be right there when Stone Cold crashes. She paid $30,000 for the tickets. If it was me, I'd have been like, I want the ATV tire mark on my head, damn it. Like,
I'd be like, I want the ATV.
I want something.
A
like,
lifetime
this is
supply.
Great.
I don't even drink,
you would think
but a
she'd
lifetime
be celebrating
supply of beer.
this wonderful monumental moment, but no, instead, she decides 3 to 5 business days after getting hit that she's going to fall and pretend that she's hurt and act mad after. Unbelievable.
Good for her. I would milk that for everything I could get out of it, damn it.
Unbelievable, this lady. $30,000 for the ticket. Can you believe that?
I'm following it. I can't get up.
I just want to know, I would have loved to have been sitting there listening to Nick Khan and what he was saying to her. What was she saying to him? Like, I would have loved if a camera would have been there capturing that interaction.
Only imagine the first thing is probably, are you okay?
Well, I would think, yes, that'd be the first thing. But then, all right, how much money do you want? Like,
$30,000.
Like, what's he saying to her, you know? Okay, we'll take care of your tickets. We'll take care of your hotel. Like, what's he saying to her, you know? Because something like that, you know, I mean, that's right there at ringside. That's on worldwide TV because it's on Netflix everywhere in the world. So, yeah, I mean, that was a pretty big, and it was all over social media later. I mean, I went on briefly, and that's all I saw was like memes of that, people talking about it.
To make it worse, after WrestleMania, video came out of Dom Mysterio on a golf cart, being driven on a golf cart, and the driver's honking the horn, telling people to get out of the way, but people keep crowding around him outside.
Yeah, outside. Yeah.
And some dum-dum walks into the golf cart as it's being driven and gets hit, which he didn't hit her. She walked into it.
Yeah.
When
like, you showed me that, I'm like, what?
WrestleMania Night 2 was a night of hit and runs.
Yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, the Stone Cold one, I never heard anything more of it after that night. Just everybody talking about it, giving their opinions about it. But never heard if anything came of it.
We want follow-up.
I'm sure that, like I said, I'm sure she probably got reimbursed for her ticket. I'm sure her husband, boyfriend, dad, whoever she was with, probably got comped as well. Their hotels probably got taken care of. Hell, he probably threw in a couple grand for their flights home. I'm sure of it.
But why are people paying, other than the fact that because people are, so WWE can, why $30,000 for a ticket?
What do you mean other than? That's the only reason why, because they can get it, and they are getting it, so they're going to continue in that direction. They're not going to trend with ticket prices going down. They're only going to get more expensive.
I get it. I also think you have to be careful because when you're starting to charge that much money for tickets, you're going to get certain kind of people, and maybe like that lady, not somebody who would be like us. That was awesome. Let's have a beer. Like, throw me a beer.
I'd have been like, Stone Cold, I'm coming in the ring and toasting with you.
Yes.
Give me a beer.
Yeah.
Like, or I'm suing right here. Like, that's it. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't care if it's on the format sheet. I'm in the ring and I'm drinking a beer with Stone Cold, and that's it. And I'm coming and I'm walking to the back with him, and I'm gonna like limp a little and make it look like I'm hurt. I'm gonna walk to the back with him. Like, hey, I'll be fine. Just let me come to the back with you. Let's hang out. That's what I would do.
But
for $30,000, jeez,
you're gonna have a lady boo boo face, you know. And I don't know. I'm just saying, like,
maybe she was, you know, she could be of the mindset. I paid $30,000 for these tickets. I don't want to get hit by a vehicle,
of course,
flying at me.
Of course,
she could be of that mindset.
Yes,
which I don't blame her.
If I paid $30,000, I probably would have been like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Too.
Yeah,
$30,000.
Sure. And that's just her. That's not whoever she came
Some people
with.
don't even make that much in a year.
Yeah, that's true. So that was good. It was fun. It was a good time. Thankfully, we don't think anybody was hurt.
Hopefully not. And that brings us to our main event.
That brings us to the finale of WrestleMania Night 2 and of WrestleMania weekend. The main event.
Ooh, sorry.
You got to stop that.
It was an accident.
You've got to stop it.
Usually it's you doing that.
No way. Don't transfer the heat to me. All right. The main event. The challenger. John Cena. Facing and going for his 17th World Championship against the champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
John Cena comes out just black and white. Black background, white text, John Cena.
On the screen you're talking about? On the screen, yes.
No real pomp and circumstance, just comes out.
Very bland.
Yeah. He's giving us nothing.
I think it would have been better if he came out to no music and no screen. He just came out. I think in a perfect world that would happen, but obviously they went as basic as they could for him.
Cody Rhodes, his entrance was interesting.
God.
It was like motocross, like dirt bikes
like
or something.
Like these motocross racers.
Yeah.
Just randomly. On the stage doing tricks and riding around. It was like, huh?
Okay.
Is Cody Rhodes a motocross guy all of a sudden? Like, what did I miss?
Yeah.
What's going on here? Made no sense, and all they did was like a couple of pass-bys
like
a couple times.
crisscrossing.
They crisscrossed a couple times, and then they just went away.
I was like, are we going to get some Evel Knievel shit going on? You're going to get like a big, huge ramp with a loop-de-loop and a hoop on fire that they're going to go through?
Something.
No. No, they just crisscrossed applesauce to each other. And
it was just very blah.
Yeah.
And then Cody came up. Did he come up from the stage or I don't know?
Yeah, he was on the stage.
No, did he come up from underneath it? Like, did he get raised up? Did he have something elaborate? I can't even.
I don't think so. I don't remember.
I think he just walked out.
I think I was too dumbfounded by what the hell's going on. What's the point of this?
Yeah, I was wondering, like, what's with the motocross bikes? It was weird.
So he comes out. It's his because it was a different music playing. So I'm like, oh, okay, what's this? What's happening?
Yeah.
Does Cody Rhodes have new music? Is it a special entrance? But then his music started and his regular song
starts and he comes out, yeah.
So I was just like, okay.
Yeah, it was very
so that
confusing because you knew it was going to be Cody Rhodes coming out because Cena had already come out. Mm-hmm. And so it's new music. So I'm just like, are they choosing WrestleMania to give him a new theme song? Because that's bold. Like,
well,
the big thing with Cody is part of his entrance is the people doing the whoa during his song. So like, are they changing it? But then, and then the motorcycles, it's like, what's going on? What is this? And then he just comes out randomly, and his regular song starts. So it was just kind of like, why was that there? It didn't make any kind of impact. There was no ooh or ah factor to it. It was just kind of like, why? What is this? What does this have to do with anything related to Cody Rhodes? Like nothing. And
like I said, it wasn't Evel Knievel style stuff. It was just like, okay.
Like, teach me how to ride a motorcycle, and I probably could have done that with like a month or two of practice.
Yeah.
It was very basic.
I wasn't impressed.
I don't believe anybody really was.
No, very, very lackluster.
More dumbfounded than anything. And then we had the match. So these guys went a while. I think they must have gone like maybe 20 minutes, close to 20 minutes, if not a little longer. And it was very... It was a good paced match. It was paced well. I thought it was the crowd seemed to be pretty into it. If you were looking at John Cena at all, you knew everything that was going to happen because he's so loud and so blatant when he calls his spots. He just calls the whole entire match. He's saying everything out loud as loud as possible. He's not shy about it. He just and if you can't hear him, well, you can read his lips because he just doesn't even try to hide it. And so you could see like everything that was coming. And then it gets to a point where, and the crowd's still very anti-Cody.
Yeah, they were booing him when he came out.
Just not getting a good reaction. Not what you want for your top baby face, your top good guy.
And I've been saying for a while over the past year, he's started coming off very politician-like. And I've been getting sick of him because it's just like, okay, you just come off like a politician. Yeah, that's it.
You've been saying that all along. And I've been saying all along, like, hey, good for him. He's over. The people love him. I don't get it. Because to me, he comes across like a classic heel. Just the way he is, his mannerisms, the way he dresses, all that stuff. He's classic Ric Flair style heel to me. or at least that's what I thought he was going for. I don't know. Like his baby face good guy shtick doesn't work for me. But again, I'm not the one paying $30,000 for a front row seat.
No.
I'm not, I'm not doing any of that stuff. So the people that are spending money on this product, they love him, and that's great.
Well, apparently not at WrestleMania.
Except for this crowd, but anywhere else in the world where people are buying tickets and watching the show, he's like their top merchandise seller. Like, so he's it's working.
I think part of that too is like I've been feeling how I feel about him, and then the stuff about the band, that American Nightmare, and how the singer is suing him in WWE because of breach of contract, and they keep doing it, and we'll watch and be like, they're still like just having it, instead of saying American Nightmare Cody Rhodes.
Be a little more specific so people that don't have a clue what you're talking about know what you're talking about.
So the band American Nightmare, I guess, originally sued Cody Rhodes, or they had an agreement with him that if they're going to use the band's name, it has to be with Cody Rhodes. You can't just have plain American Nightmare. And that was an agreement.
Because they own the copyright and trademark to it. So in any apparel that Cody markets or sells, or the WWE markets or sells, it has to have Cody Rhodes' name bigger than the words American Nightmare, so that people can differentiate between the two, between the band and the wrestler. And apparently it's an agreement that Cody Rhodes agreed to, that WWE agreed to, and they've been breaking it ever since they agreed to it. A lot. All his merchandise. It's like half his merchandise just says American Nightmare on it. And so what the trademark holder is alleging, and which I believe him, is that it's causing confusion in the marketplace. People that want American Nightmare, the band gear, are getting the wrestling gear, and vice versa. I guess. I mean, it makes sense to me that's definitely confusion. If you're seeing American Nightmare and he's got a skull on his logo and stuff like that, and I don't know what the band's logo is, but I'm sure it's probably something along those lines.
But
you
the
can
point
see
is,
where it's getting confused.
They made an agreement, and he's breaking it.
And he's breaking it. He's not sticking to it. Right. So he's
allowing it to be broken.
He's been sued again, and he keeps putting off the lawsuit. Every time I hear about it, I'm like, geez, again? Like, how many times are you going to delay this lawsuit, Cody and WWE?
Until he gets a new thing.
But when you got the money and you can afford the lawyers.
And to me, that's sleazy.
Yeah,
That's not what a babyface does.
Well, it's also not something that I think is common knowledge to the wrestling audience. I don't think a lot of people are aware of that.
Or maybe
you and I are.
Yeah.
But that's not something that they talk about on TV, obviously. That's not something that I think has been widely reported, so it may not be very well known. And I know that some people say, well, it's just the band looking to make money. They're actually not suing for a lot of money. I was very surprised.
Wasn't it something like $100,000?
No, it was like $900,000 over the 4 years that the agreement's been broken.
That's not a lot.
Which is not a lot. It's really not. So anyway, yeah, there's that. That's the whole lawsuit with Cody thing.
So John Cena and Cody wrestle. It was fine. And then, of course, we're thinking, oh, The Rock is going to come
Everybody's
out at some
thinking
point.
the damn Rock is going to come out. So they bumped the referee, meaning the referee gets knocked out. You've seen this in wrestling hundreds of times over the years, of course. Haven't seen it on WWE TV in a bit, or at least not in a main event for a while. So the referee gets knocked out of the ring, or he gets bumped. He gets knocked down. He's out cold. John Cena removes the turnbuckle from one of the ropes, one of the corners. He rams Cody into it a couple of times and gets a 2 count from the referee. I think he hit him twice, hits his head twice. It gives him his finishing move, the attitude adjustment. Hooks him for the cover. The ref slowly crawls over, does the 1, 2, and Cody kicks out. Okay, cool. Great. Crowd goes nuts. They got him. They got the people. That's great. Then music hits. The freaking music that you've been hearing. Is whatever the hell the song is called. I don't even know what it's.
I think.
Sure, that song. Travis Scott. This guy comes out. The guy who was involved in the end of the Elimination Chamber He's been on WWE TV a couple times here and there, whatever. He's some big deal rap guy. I don't know. I never heard of this guy till he was on WWE TV. I never knew who this guy was. But apparently he's got, I don't know. Somebody I heard the other day said he has like 50 million more followers on social media than WWE does. So he's a big deal.
He's famous.
He's famous.
Apparently, allegedly.
Sure. Great.
Supposedly, in theory.
Whatever. He comes out. His music hits, and he comes out on the stage, and the place kind of gets up because they're thinking, oh, if he's coming out, that means The Rock's going to come out, because that's been the story of this whole entire John Cena versus Cody Rhodes thing.
Everyone's been left hanging.
Everybody's
by this.
sitting here waiting. Okay, Rock's going to come out because he hasn't showed up at TV yet, so he's got to come out next because he was there when Travis Scott and when John Cena turned on Cody Rhodes and Travis Scott hit him and all, whatever.
And Travis Scott is just moseying his way.
He took almost
ring.
2 minutes to get to the ring. He taken his sweet ass time.
He was taking it in. He's at WrestleMania.
This fucking guy could care less about anything but just, hey, I'm going to take my sweet ass time getting out of the ring, blah, blah, blah. Holy shit, this took forever.
Meanwhile, we're thinking, where the fuck's The Rock?
Now, of course, this 2-minute entrance is happening, and in the ring, nothing is happening. John Cena's standing there watching Travis Scott saunter down to the ring, taking his sweet-ass time. Cody Rhodes is still down on the ground, pretending to be hurt, selling, waiting for this fucking guy to walk down to the ring. Holy shit, this took forever. Now my swearing, I'm going to get pissed now. But God, it took me out of the match entirely because it's like, okay, what the fuck is going on? 2 minutes. That's an eternity in the middle for a match to just stop.
That's a really long time.
The match just stopped. And it's for this freaking guy. It's like it's not for some returning mega wrestling star. It's
not for The Rock.
It's not for The Rock. It's not for anybody. It's for this guy. This skinny guy coming out with a counterfeit WWE championship belt, like a replica belt that you could buy at the merchandise stand for $100. That's what this guy's coming out with. Acting like he's a big deal. And it's like, what is going on here? And so he gets out to the ring and he just kind of stands there for a minute. He doesn't really do anything yet. And then somehow he gets in the ring and goes like he's going to smack Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes just like grabs his hand and gives him his finisher, the crossroads. Like this like face buster thing, whatever he calls it. And that's it. He's done. That's it.
Okay, hold on. No, wait.
Was there more? Did I miss something?
Yes, there was.
Good God.
And I think it was before this because Cody was gonna pin Cena.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. You're
Cena's
correct.
Foot and puts it on the rope or something. He pulled somebody.
He pulled the referee out of the ring and bumps the referee again.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that's when he goes in.
Yes,
he goes in.
Stop hitting the microphone.
Sorry.
God.
I'm excited. I'm talking about this. So I'm fired up. So Cody then does the crossroads and starts kicking, what's his name, Travis Scott?
Yeah.
Out of the ring. And the dude's not getting the hint, roll out of the ring.
Get the fuck out, dude.
He has to keep kicking him.
Just keep kicking him.
Like 3 times. Like he kicks him and he doesn't roll because Cody stopped kicking him thinking he'll roll out. Nope. Kicks him some more, trying to push him out the ring. Now Travis Scott is at the edge of the ring. Still not getting the hit. Cody has to kick him again.
Give us the ring. Get the fuck off the stage. It's not. Get out. Yeah, he's just not getting it. But and this here's some great news for you. This guy's training, I guess, with Booker T. He's gonna wrestle. This guy's actually gonna fucking wrestle. Who's this guy gonna wrestle that anybody is gonna take seriously? Like, I don't know. I don't see it. I don't get it. He's a skinny dude. He's a little guy. He's not like a big guy. So I don't know what they're thinking here, but
okay,
whatever.
Here's the thing. Bad Bunny.
He's got a billion social media followers, so let's put him on there with our top guys. Let's let him ruin our main event of WrestleMania.
Bad Bunny was surprisingly good in the ring when he came in and wrestled.
Agreed.
Logan Paul, not a wrestler, surprisingly good in the ring. I didn't see that from Travis Scott. I mean, he busted Cody Rhodes' eardrum the first time.
Supposedly, that's what they say.
Allegedly.
I don't know if he did or not, but
and then, but this, it's like just it came off to me like you were fulfilling someone's childhood dream. And I think of now I'm blanking on the movie that you hate with the wrestling with Scott Conn.
Oh, the Ready to
Ready
Rumble
to Rumble.
movie?
And they're like, King, crown me, because they're just so excited. That's what it came off as. Like his inner child, just his dream being fulfilled of being in a WWE ring during WrestleMania that he probably paid a lot more than $30,000 to be a part of.
That's the thing that I never got. This is the part that I don't get. And I get where they say, well, it's got so many eyeballs on the WWE now and blah, blah, blah. But you still just make all of the guys and gals that are there doing this year round, night in, night out, you make them look so bad when you just let this outsider come in who doesn't look like he could fucking crack an eggshell. This fucking guy comes in and he's like, he smacks Cody Rhodes as hard as he can. They say he breaks his eardrum, gives him a black eye, all this stuff. They're giving this guy the credit for that on TV. Whether or not that really is what happened, I don't know.
But it doesn't come off like he's tough.
He doesn't come off
like
tough.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
He comes off like he has no clue what he's doing. The first time we saw him on TV, he was smoking a joint with Jey Uso coming down through the crowd. Remember that? Like, that's the first time you see this guy. He's just sitting there smoking the fattest blunt you've ever seen. And
wasn't he doing that coming in for WrestleMania too?
I don't know. He might have been. I don't know. I have no idea. He at the Elimination Chamber, he was like burning sage or something. That's what the commentators say. I'm just like, what is this guy doing? He's so out of place there. It doesn't make a lick of sense for the angles, for the storylines. It's just, this guy's got 100 billion social media followers. Let's put him on the show because he's popular. People know who he is. That's it. And if you're a business that's trying to gain notoriety, get 30 grand for a ringside seat, I guess I get it. But aside from that, for people that actually follow wrestling, who are lifelong fans of wrestling, or maybe even have just been following for a little bit of time, this guy it's a slap in the face, in my opinion, to the performers that are there and to the fans that are longtime fans that are watching for wrestling, not for this fucking guy. It's, to me, it just, and anyway, he killed this match for me.
And he helped Cena win.
Killed it dead.
Because of him.
Because of him, well, because he pulled the ref out of the ring. Yeah. But then after that, he came in. That's right. That's when he went to slap Cody, and Cody blocked it and gave him his finish, and that was it. I don't think we saw him again till at the end of the match when he got in the ring again to celebrate with Cena. So Cena finally, and this is where I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what they're thinking, but the end of the match comes when Cena gets the championship. And he's going to go hit Cody with it, and Cody stops him and yanks the belt from John. And Cena begs off. He stops. He drops down to his knees like, no, and he begs off. And this is the first time the crowd actually booed Cena. Like, oh, now like he becomes a coward finally, and they finally boo him. Finally, this is the reaction that you would think they'd want all along. And he's begging off. And Cody, it's right there. Hit him with the fucking belt. Knock him out. Win the match. It's over. This guy, now, if you look at the history of this build-up here for this match, Cena kicked Cody in the nuts and hit him multiple times with the belt, and then used a Rolex watch on his head and busted him open hard way, beat the shit out of him. Then The Rock decided, hey, I'm going to take my weight belt off and whip Cody 3 times as hard as I can with him in the back and whatever. And then you don't see Rock come back, so he never comes out again. That's the last time you see The Rock in this entire build-up. And Cena, who has hit Cody in the head multiple times with the belt, is about to go do it again, has already cheated by hitting his head into the turnbuckle twice. Cody's not going to hit him with the belt. Like, if you're a babyface, if you're a good guy, just anybody, and you've been screwed over this many times, and now you have your chance to hit somebody,
you're not going to just
fucking take that shot. Of course you are, if you're smart. If you're a fucking idiot, you're going to go, oh, no, maybe I won't do it. Which is exactly what fucking Cody Rhodes did. Oh, no, I'm going to have second thoughts. I'm not going to hit you. And he gets kicked in the balls by John Cena, and John Cena fucking pins him. 1, 2, 3. He wins the championship.
And all I'm thinking is,
what the fuck was that?
Army of Darkness, Ash, where he splits into 2, and he's like, little goody 2 shoes, little goody 2 shoes. Like, that's what I got in my head. Just thinking about, little goody 2 shoes, Cody Rhodes.
It was so
You're so above it.
It was so bad. I don't see how if you're a Cody Rhodes fan, I don't see how you could be after that.
Yeah,
finish.
That was rough.
Like I said, I appreciate his work. I think he's done an excellent job. I don't get it, but it's not for me, but whatever. He's done an excellent job. I thought he looked like a pathetic loser at the end of this. And I thought, well, yeah, you should have lost. Absolutely. You should have lost because you were a fucking idiot. Like, why didn't you just hit him? So whoever laid this out, the fact that Cody agreed to it, I think is just amazing. Like, where is the long-term direction for this? That's what I want to know.
I would like to see that.
Because he did not come off looking good. The place cheered when Cena, they're booing. Now get this. The crowd's booing Cena, finally. And they're coming up because they think, Cody's going to just fucking wallop him. Here it comes. And then he second guess it. When Cena kicked him in the nuts, big cheer. Yep. So they were booing Cena, and the second he fucking kicked Cody, boom, big cheer. Big pop. Huge pop for the finish. John Cena breaks Ric Flair's record. He's the 17-time world champion now. And yay. Big celebration from the people. Then the idiot comes in the ring and celebrates with John Cena, Travis Scott, whatever his name is.
Still no Rock.
Comes, and we're still waiting. Like, okay, Rock's got to come out, right? Nope. Then you get the executive producers, Paul Levesque, Lee Fitting. The little graphic comes up on the screen. And that's it. And they end WrestleMania with John Cena telling Travis Scott, "Hey, get that thing up." Referring to his little toy championship belt as they're celebrating.
You're a champ too, little guy.
I'm just like, what was that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not mad at the result. I'm not mad that Cena won. I thought that made sense, especially him turning heel.
I wanted him to win.
I wanted him to win. I thought that was the right call. But the way it was done, it just made Cody Rhodes. You took your top merchandise seller, your top babyface, and I thought it made him look like a complete idiot.
It felt like it kind of buried him.
The only redeeming thing that Cody Rhodes can do now is if he comes out on SmackDown or whenever. If it was me, I wouldn't let him. I'd keep him off TV for months. Get rid of him. Let people forget about him. Don't let him come back for a while. That's what I would do. But if he comes out on TV soon, like tonight, or because we're recording this on Friday, if he comes out on SmackDown, he's got to just say, "I was an idiot." He's got to just call it. I was an idiot. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I'm sorry. That was a stupid move. He's just got to call it what it is. You cannot rationalize that thought process. You cannot say, "I was trying to be a goody two shoes and do the rule, play by the rules," whatever you can't do that because nobody will buy it. Because no rational, logical, sane human being would not have hit John Cena if they were in Cody Rhodes' shoes. You are an idiot that you didn't hit him. That's the only way you can save this, unless they come up with something else, which I hope they do.
We'll see.
But that was the end of WrestleMania Night 2, and what a debacle. So then, we're not going to talk much about Raw or anything else, but it was very interesting that on Tuesday, on the Pat McAfee show, he had The Rock on. And I wanted to watch this, so I actually watched it live. And I've never watched the Pat McAfee show. I guess he talks a lot about football on there, and I'm not a football fan, so I don't care. But he does have wrestlers on from time to time, and it was announced in advance that he was going to have The Rock on. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to tune into this because I want to know, is he going to ask Rock, why weren't you at WrestleMania, dude? Like, what the fuck happened? And, oh boy, was Rock... Did he make a lot of news and some headlines on this one? So I think The Rock, the time that he spent with Hulk Hogan in his earlier career, he learned some lessons from the Hulkster. He learned how to spin a yarn. He learned how to tell tall tales. Because I don't know what the hell this guy is thinking. He proceeded to tell Pat McAfee that he was called in advance of the Elimination Chamber by Ari Emanuel, who was the owner of one of the head honcho at TKO, saying that tickets for Elimination Chamber were slow. We're not selling tickets. So we need something to build interest. And I don't think they sold the show out in the end, but they were pretty close. They were like maybe 2,000 shy, and it was a big stadium that they were in. So they still had a lot of people there. It was, I think, like 40,000 people. So it's not like they were hurting for numbers. But that's the story he told. And he said he came up with the whole I want Cody's soul storyline. And he said that he gave the credit for the John Cena heel turn to Triple H. He said that after Elimination Chamber was done, that he decided that I'm going to just let John and Cody come up with the rest of this. You guys don't need me for this. You don't need me for WrestleMania. I don't want to take away. And he said it in such a pompous, arrogant way, but he was, I think, trying to sound sincere, that he was just, I think the guy in his fame and in all of his success has lost his self-awareness because he came off so like just like he was just so
I'm gonna push the baby birds out of their nest and let them fly.
So matter of fact about what a douchebag he is about this, because he's like, I didn't want to be the anchor. Like, this has happened to me throughout my entire 25-year career in this business, making it sound like
it's a hard
if he's involved in it, the focus is only on him and nobody else can hold a candle to him. That's like what it came off as. And I'm just like, is this guy really saying this right now? Like, and it was just, and he wasn't talking like his gimmick character. He was talking like Dwayne Johnson. Like, he's just trying to sound like he's trying to be real, quote unquote, if you will. And so I'm just sitting there listening to this thing, and I'm just like, is this guy fucking kidding? And then he was saying how that was it. That he just he said that he would have got to the finish of the main event of Night 2 of WrestleMania differently, but he was real happy with the way it turned out and all. He just made a lot of comments that were very just.
And it was almost like, I'm gonna let them entertain me. Let's see how they entertain me.
That's how it came across. Like, okay, guys, here you guys are the main event. Now you figure it out. Like, dude, you just were the catalyst for John Cena turning heel in probably one of the biggest wrestling angles in the last 15, 20 years. And you are the one that caused it all. He was coming to TV, building it up, showed up at the pay-per-view and at the Elimination Chamber, and then that was it. You didn't see him anymore. He was gone, and everybody's wondering, where's The Rock? They weren't mentioning him on TV. It was just like, no, I'm out. See ya.
He
Peace.
Just dropped off the face of the
See you
earth.
later. And it's like, okay, is he filming a movie? What's it? No, he's just fucking hanging out in Hawaii. He's not. It's not like he's busy. It's not like he's doing something. He could have been there.
So I had argued, and you had a very great counterpoint for WWE side, but I had argued that they could have easily said something to get him out of the picture if he wasn't going to be involved. But as you counterpointed, WWE is going to use that to sell tickets because people think The Rock will be there.
Yeah.
Which is genius.
Yeah, because they did not sell out night one.
Even though they said they did.
They said they did. It was like 2,000 less people on night one than there were night two, but somehow it was a sellout. I don't know how that works.
Both nights still had tickets available while it was going on.
Yeah, and again, they announced 2,000 more people for night two, but somehow night one sold out at 61,000. I don't get that. Anyway, whatever, regardless. So if Rock's statement about Elimination Chamber was true, then wouldn't the same hold true for WrestleMania?
Yeah.
No, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so obviously they didn't, and I guess there were shirts that were made that said, finally The Rock has come home to Vegas, that they were selling. Or that
really?
people had bought off the website or something. Oh. I saw something about that, and I was like, really? That's interesting. So like, when did he decide I'm just not coming to WrestleMania? So that's fueled a lot of people speculating that there's some kind of friction, animosity between Triple H and The Rock creatively or whatever. Who knows?
And what's hard was he actually supposed to be at WrestleMania and something happened?
Logically, I would say yes.
Whether it's something with WWE or his own personal thing, that he just couldn't be there. And this is their way of kind of spinning that? Or is this an angle they're trying to somehow work, making friction between the two? I don't know.
But it's not going to pay friction between who? Triple H and The Rock?
Yeah, because that's not going to pay off.
It's not going to pay off.
Wrestle.
Triple H can't wrestle.
Yeah.
He's got a thing in his chest. What a pacemaker. He can't wrestle. so it's not going to pay off. So I don't know what's going on with this. There's all kinds of theories on the internet about it. I've heard a couple of different podcasts where some people whose opinions I respect have all kinds of great theories. I don't know what to think. I just think that The Rock definitely is not self-aware. He did not come off good in that, and honestly, he didn't make WWE look good either.
But then he doubled down and made it worse.
How did he make it worse?
Was it an Instagram post responding to somebody?
Yes. So then there's this Sirius XM show called Busted Open Radio, and what's his name? Dave something. Dave LaGreca, I think is his name, is the host of that show, and he's been very passionate. He's a very passionate WWE fan and whatever, and he always comments on things. He's a fan, and so he said something. He was ranting about something about WrestleMania, and The Rock commented on his Instagram post of one of his rants.
Dave, it's a work. That was like the first sentence.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me with this? Like, what is this? So The Rock decides to comment on somebody's social media post because I didn't listen to it. I don't know what the guy said, but apparently it was something that was derogatory or negative towards The Rock. And so The Rock felt the need to respond to this by letting him know and letting the world know it's a work, meaning it's scripted, it's predetermined, it's planned, it's not real. Like, he had to tell everybody that. And it's like, dude, we know it's a work. Everybody knows it's a work. You don't have to tell us. And the fact that he does that, I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. It's baffling. And again, I don't know how this helps your business if you're a businessman by going and just like shouting at people. It's like telling people in the middle of a movie, Tom Cruise in the middle of Mission Impossible stops, looks at the camera, goes, "Oh, by the way, this is not me about to perform this crazy stunt. We have a stunt man. Just so you know." Okay, back to the movie. That's what it's like. That's like the best analogy I can come up with. We know we're watching a movie. We know that it's not really Tom Cruise doing this crazy thing, or maybe it is. I don't know. Tom Cruise is nuts. But
I have his response.
Whose response?
The Rock.
Okay,
this is what he said.
This is the Instagram post?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear it.
"Hi, Dave. The business is a complete work. Always has been, always will be. Every aspect of it. Every match. Every interview. Please join me, Cody, Cena, Brian, and the rest of us for our creative discussion so you can expand your perspective. Until then, stop ranting. It's not healthy, my friend. Enjoy the show. P.S. Tell Bubba I have Grand Marnier and hush puppies for all of us." And it's like a whiskey glass emoji and a laughing, crying emoji.
So there you go.
And I saw that, and I wasn't sure what it was in response to, but the fact you're saying, like, it's a work, always has been, always will be, I look at it like this. We need to bring kayfabe back because all of this, like, at the post show, what was your creative process? It's like you're taking the realism out of it. Yes, we know it's not real. We know it's scripted. We know it's predetermined. However, if you want people to invest and get those organic reactions,
emotionally invest,
and financially,
which in turn will get them to financially invest.
You want those organic reactions. You can't keep taking them out of the realism of it. You can't keep rubbing in people's faces that it's all fake, because then people are going to say, okay, you know what? Fine, it is fake. I'm going to stop watching because what's the point? It's all fake. Oh, okay, I'll treat it like it's fake. All right, I'm not going to react because obviously it's fake. Oh, they're not really hurt. It's just a work. It's fine. I won't react. And then I'll just stop watching because who cares? It's fake. Like, you have to be careful because we can get petty. People can get petty and be like, oh, yeah, you want to play that way? You want to act like that? I'll act like that too. So you have to be careful if you keep just being so cavalier about, yes, it's a work, it's fake. Again, it feels like hubris on his part that's going to backfire.
That's a good take. It's an interesting take. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, they're obviously trending in this direction.
Mm-hmm.
They announced on Netflix coming this summer they're going to have a show that goes into their writer's room,
which is so funny.
Shows you how they come up with everything and how they do all this
you
stuff.
legit said that a while back.
I did. I said this like maybe a year or so ago. If they want to have a good show, they need to go into the writer's room. They need to show how, like, some of the backstage drama, because a lot of times that can be more interesting than the stuff that plays out on TV. And now they're doing it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, thank you. You're welcome. I mean, excuse me. You're welcome, WWE, for the idea, because it was my idea. Damn it. Right. Anyway. So yeah, they are going in that direction now, where they're going to show you everything. So they're peeling back the curtain. I mean, I don't think, obviously, they're never going to show you everything, because there's got to be some magic left. There's got to be some what if left there. There's got to be. You can't eliminate the magic entirely, but they're going to pull back the curtain even more than they have been. So it'll be very interesting how that goes. I don't get this thing, though, of just going like immediately after something is done. It's like you want to talk about something maybe a year, 2 years after it's happened and reflect on it, maybe give it some inside baseball on how you came to that decision or whatever after the fact, great. But when it happens like that night, immediately after the show, that's what it's like, come on. Like,
it's like going to like some...
Let me have some fun with this.
Awesome magician and watching the show and being like, that was really cool. And then, okay, and this is basically how we got to doing this.
Now, let me show you how I did it.
It was really easy.
Like, hey, I just saw this woman in half. Now, let me show you how I did it.
Yeah.
Like, right away, right after. It's like, okay.
Let us linger in the magic and, wonderment of it for a little bit longer.
And it's funny because he's one of the people that always, The Rock I'm referring to when I say he's one of the people that always says, I love the magic and the wonder of pro wrestling. I just love the art form, blah, blah, this and that. And he says these things, and then he goes out, and everything he says kills the magic and the wonder. Like, he kills it.
The goosebumps, they're a work too.
Oh, I'm sure his goosebumps are a work too.
You can make yourself get goosebumps.
Good grief. Yeah, him smacking his arm and showing off his goosebumps. Yay. Yeah. Great. So
it's a work.
Anyway, I'm just very, I'm baffled. I don't get it. And you know what? More power to them. They that was the highest grossing WrestleMania of all time for $30,000 tickets. I'm surprised.
They almost killed two women in it, not wrestling at all.
I'm surprised that it wasn't the highest grossing, that it won't be the highest grossing event ever. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, geez, they're doing something right. You can't argue with their financial success. And at the end of the day, the people who own this company now, they're not wrestling people. They're not. They're just not. They're fight people. They're Hollywood people. They own the UFC, and they're one of the biggest talent agencies in Hollywood. That's who owns this company. The big shot callers, the guys who at the end of the day care about one thing. They care about money. They don't give a shit if your wrestling product is good or not. As long as it's making them money, they don't care. So there you go. That's all of us wrestling fans, us wrestling purists, us former wrestlers, all of us be damned. As long as TKO makes some money.
And that's the bottom line.
That's it. So that is our review of WrestleMania 41.
Yeah. We didn't even go into the roast, but...
Holy cow. We didn't see the roast. We just heard about it,
but we've been going long enough.
We've gone a long time. We've gone almost as long as one of the WrestleMania nights.
No, not that long. Almost as long as the pre-show.
We've gone almost as long as Michelle McCool's Hall of Fame speech. Anyway, until next time, when we come back, we're probably not going to talk about wrestling unless something crazy happens. Anyway, I am the Golden Greek, Alex Sarion, joined as always by my beautiful, lovely, gorgeous wife, Monique.
And you've been listening to the Homewrecker podcast.
We love hearing from and interacting with our hearers and watchers. Feel free to reach out to us on Twitter
at HomewreckerPod.
You can also visit our website,
homewreckerpodcast.com,
where you can check out past episodes and pick up some Homewrecker Podcast gear from our online store.
Also, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe or follow button wherever you're hearing or watching our show. That way you can be notified whenever a new episode drops. We're on all major podcasting platforms, and you can check out the video versions of our show at YouTube and Brighteon.
You can also find Monique in a few places online as well.
I'm on Twitter @_MoniqueGiselle_. If you're interested in a tarot reading, organite, incense, candles, and other cool things, you can go to my website, tarotbymonique.com. Or if you're interested in hypnotherapy, you can go to innerstandingshypnosis.com to schedule a free 20-minute consult. And follow me on Twitter @MoniquePCHT. And Alex, how can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter @TheAlexArion, and you can check out my website, alexarionfitness.com.
And if that's too much to remember, we get it. That's why we put it all in our show notes.
Thanks for spending your time with us, and we appreciate all of your support.
We do. Thank you. We love you. Many people are unaware just how much hypnotherapy can help them, or think it's only to help lose weight or quit smoking. But there is so much more hypnotherapy can do. It can help with stress, anxiety, insomnia, phobias, performance enhancement, connecting with your spirit guides and higher self. You can even discover past lives and your life between lives. Heal traumas, break habits, find your deepest truth, or just have fun discovering who you really are, all from the comfort of your home. I'm Monique Pliakis. I'm a certified hypnotherapist, and I want to help you. Schedule a free consult by going to www.innerstandingshypnosis.com. That's INNERSTANDINGSHYPNOSIS.com. Innerstandings Hypnosis. Find your power and ignite your inner light.